Islam. 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through His holy prophet, noble Ali, Islam. Prophet warns all Muslims, governors, ordered to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans, it causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their cardin button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet noble Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out a divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Noble Ali, Islam. To be proclaimed at every meeting. Islam. I am glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There is a host of jealousy about me and the movement now, by the same people of our side of the nation that claimed that it was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me, so they may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting funds. The ones that paid their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I am calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance, and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present. Please, Moors, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement. Everything good? You had a good one this morning. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without I, the prophet, being head. It has been proven by my works, which I have performed in the past few years. Prophet Noble Ali, Islam. To the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Islam. This is the instruction from your Prophet Noble Ali. Be faithful unto your forefathers' divine and national creed, that you would be blessed for your good deeds that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is now on, but the weak can comprehend it not. The end of time is drawing near, so says Allah to his divine prophet, I Noble Ali. And that's why many hearts have been turned to stone, many have eyes to see but cannot see, ears to hear but cannot hear, lest they will be confounded of their sins. These are trying hours now, dear Moors, and every evil spirit is moving, and they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid, and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but would sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your prophet. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest, and the ones that speak against your divine and national principles. Act accordingly, and Allah would bless you for your good work. Peace, your divine prophet, Noble Ali. Islam. So we know there's been this convoy madness going on, and they came out with some articles. People reached up there, and now they're talking about what's been going on. So we just got a couple articles and a couple books, and of course our Koran reading for today. So this is officials decried desecration of monuments during Ottawa protests. Now again, we know that with the whole pandemic stuff going on, I know your work you're doing hasn't stopped. Stuff is going on like regular, right? Other than school shut down, with us, I'm in the same boat. Work as usual. Right. You know what I mean? Out there you have they have the whole masking in Hamilton and stuff. You have to mask up in stores or whatever the case is. Right? Yeah, stuff. Right. So I was watching one of the news broadcasts this morning, and they were talking about how they shut the mall down because all the protesters bum rushed the mall to do the whole no masking thing in the mall or whatever like that. Right? Now, not only them, there was few. One of the food banks had to shut down because they were going in there trying to get food or whatever from the food bank, the protester people, right? And then the mayor came out and announced that because of the possibility of whatever is going to go on, they're shutting down downtown Ottawa, shut it all down, so the protesters could do whatever it is that they're doing, right? So the whole point of them protesting was because they don't want to get the shot. They have the right to whatever like that. You can't tell them they can't work because of whatever. But then the protest is shutting down the mall where people work at, shutting down food bank where people go to get food or whatever like that, right? People who need it, not these people, right? And whatever other stores. So I think the whole downtown core is shut. Right. So all those stores Ottawa. Right? So all those stores that were closed for the past 2 years, trying to make their little pittance right now that they could squeeze out a couple sales or whatever. Now these rights people have the place shut down, and these people can't even do what they're supposed to do, right? As far as surviving, right? Now,
said they're trying every weak mind, right?
Every weak mind is being tried right now. Right? Every weak mind is being tried, and
I got people that like even on my Facebook platform, like people that never used to be mentioning rates or talking about rates. It's like how many posts from how many years ago have been shown, posting, and now they're realizing something's going on.
Yeah.
Right? Well, maybe this is a good thing in disguise, this whole get people actually.
Yeah, on another level, yeah. But then the other part of it is, okay, well, how much do they have in them? Yeah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Is it just this, and then next week everybody's going back to not being a protester or whatever? Because they had a few people out there. There's a lot of people out there. Because with us, it's the marathon, not the sprint. Right. You know what I mean? We're in on the rights fight for generations that's coming after us. Right. We're not in it just for the moment. Right. And the appearance is that all these people are in it for the moment. They're in it to get their little whatever they could get, just like we say with the MATD people. Right. They get their thing to go on the plane, and then they're gonna go to some party in Morocco or something. They're not even doing nothing Moorish with the travel document. Right?
If they're even using it.
Yeah, if they're even using it, right? So you have to, especially in these times, you definitely have to use discernment on a next level, because everything revolves around rights right now. Everything revolves around, well, I have the right to, we should be able to, the Constitution says that whatever, when it really doesn't apply to wards. If you're a citizen of U.S. or Canada, ain't no rights. I don't care how you look. I don't care what your skin complexion is. You know what I mean? I don't care what type of privilege you think you have or whatever like that. If it gets down to the nitty-gritty, the rights don't apply. You're out there wasting gas. You're out there messing up other people's lives. No different than the black guys going out, marching in the street, lying on the highway, stopping people from going where they're supposed to go. You know what I mean? And then they do all that and still get nothing. So what was the sense of even going out there in the first place if you're not going to get anything anyways? Even with this thing, what's the sense of going out there if, tomorrow they're talking about they're opening up to 50% capacity. But if they're opening up 50% capacity, but then, the store shelves are empty because the trucker guys now, if these people said, okay, yeah, we're going to give you back your job right now. So now what they have to do? They have to drive 500 million miles back to where they came from. And then they're going to be backlogged, and then they're going to be complaining about why is there so much work or whatever. Well, if your ass didn't go anywhere, 2 days, 3 days driving across the country for some protest for some fake stuff that it's a psyop, has to be a psyop.
You made a good point in your last lecture. You were talking about how the gas prices are high.
Yeah.
And so it's like
where you going?
Right. You know what I mean? Like the truckers, that's a lot of gas for a truck.
Where you going? It's not like these people are taking their car and going. You know what I mean? They're taking the same. They don't have finance because they weren't able to get a job because they didn't get the vax and they're supposed to whatever. You didn't think to take the car to go protest?
I had an argument with someone that talked about how they raised money for the truckers. They raised like somewhat $1 million.
Yeah, $4 million or something. And they shut down their GoFundMe.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're saying something like that.
Yeah.
And she was saying how the truckers. My cousin Janice. Right? So she was saying how the truckers got to stay in hotels and they got their stuff paid for, and it's like, dude, like this is a perpetual madness. There's no good end result. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
there's no one's gonna get the result that they're looking for. It's not gonna be the outcome, regardless of whatever GoFundMe was set up or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So, interesting.
Actually, we could do that one too. GoFundMe withholding $4.7 million from trucker convoy until plan is presented, and then they released $1 million to them. Right. So they're now withholding $3 million or something. Right. GoFundMe has frozen access to more than $4.7 million in funds raised by the trucker convoy, now winding its way across the country toward Ottawa, in a protest against vaccine mandates. Quote, "We require that fundraisers be transparent about the flow of funds and have a clear plan for how those funds will be spent. In this case, we are in touch with the organizer to verify that information. Funds will be safely held until the organizer is able to provide documentation to our team about how funds will properly be distributed." Now, hold on a second. So I say, you know what I mean? I'm going to set up a GoFundMe or whatever. People say, oh yeah, we know that guy. We're going to support him. They put finance in there. Yeah. Who are these people? Right. To say, I can't access or you can't access, or who are they? Why do they have so much pull in my stuff? Right? No different than why do they have so much pull to say my post is supposed to get fact checked, but the fat ass Stong girl, they're not fact checking her. The porn guys, they're not fact checking them. The perv pedophile guys, they're not fact checking them. They get to put up children pictures and all that stuff, and there's no issue. There's no problem. They're all right with it. But these people trying to get some little finance that they could get. These were them trying to get a little finance that they could get. They're shutting down their stuff. Right, so it's Sunday. So this is as of Tuesday afternoon. Funds were raised from 61,000 donors. Our current government is implementing rules and mandates that are destroying the foundation of businesses, industries, and livelihoods, said the convoy's GoFundMe message page. Isn't that the same thing that we just said that they're doing? Aren't the people who are doing the truck stuff right now, aren't they destroying the foundation of businesses right now by having them shut down? Right? Aren't they messing up industries right now? Because these are the same delivery guys that aren't able to deliver anything because of, mandate, whatever. Well, I bet you all those people have a license, don't they? If you have a license, that means you're property, right? If you are property, then that means you got to do what they say. You get a shot, get a whatever. That means you have to go with it. You don't really. You already volunteered to give up the rights already. So how are you talking about you got rights now when you already volunteered them away, right? We are a peaceful country that has helped protect nations across the globe from tyrannical governments who oppress their people. And now it seems that it's happening here. Why is it happening here? Because these are not peaceful countries. These are corporations that went around the world and pillaged everybody else. Why wouldn't they do it to their own? Why wouldn't they? Why would they go across the world, pillage them, tell the people in the news here, oh yeah, we're bringing democracy over there because, the tyrannical terrorists are taking over their country. We're going to go help them as the white saviors and all that stuff. And then they go over there and they help them or whatever. And you talk to the people from there and they say, well, they didn't really do anything when they came here. They were raping the women and all that stuff. They were kidnapping children. Like we don't know what they mean that they came over here and helped us. You know what I mean? We still haven't built back the cities that these people bombed or whatever. Right. Place is still in shambles when these people were here 10 years ago. Right. But here they go. Now this is a peaceful country. And, why are they doing this to us or whatever? You deserve it. That's why they're doing it to you. You deserve it. Right? As of January 15th, the federal government required Canadian truckers to be fully vaccinated if they want to avoid a 14-day quarantine when they cross the border from the United States. Labor Minister Seamus O'Regan has also announced that vaccination will become mandatory for workers in all federally regulated industries, though no time has been laid out. The Canadian Trucking Alliance, which has denounced the convoy protests, says that more than 85% of the 120,000 Canadian truck drivers who regularly traverse the border are vaccinated, but that up to 16,000 may be sidelined due to new restriction exacerbating supply chain problems. The big riggers are bound for a protest set Saturday in Ottawa, where drivers from across the country are planning to converge. Feds Trucking Alliance urge vaccination. In a joint release Tuesday, the federal government and Alliance president acknowledge unprecedented challenges to a sector that ships the vast majority of food and consumer products, but stressed vaccination as the route to economic health. Vaccines, medications, personal protective equipment, food, and supplies continue to arrive where they need to be thanks to the efforts of our dedicated commercial truckers. The Government of Canada and the Canadian Trucking Alliance both agree that vaccination used in combination with preventative public health measures is most effective tool to reduce the risk of COVID-19 for Canadians and protect public health. In a Twitter thread Monday showing pictures of depleted grocery store shelves, Alberta Premier Jason Kenney said he was on the phone with U.S. governors that morning who share his concerns. He said he was working on a joint letter to U.S. President Joe Biden and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to end the dual vaccine mandate. The convoy was greeted in Saskatchewan on Monday night by supporters and by more backers Tuesday morning before it left for Manitoba. Trudeau said Monday that conservative politicians were fear-mongering about the supply chain. The best way to continue to prevent supply chain disruptions is to ensure that everyone gets vaccinated, Trudeau said. But then I was watching Dr. Bogosh, the guy who they go to for all the advice about, the COVID and whatever like that. He's talking about, well, everybody should be vaccinated, but we can't do this thing of, because people aren't vaccinated, they should get whatever treatment. Like, you shouldn't be doing that. Everybody should have a choice, whether they want to or not. And the ones who don't, they just have to take extra measures because they don't have the thing. Like, simple as that. Simple as that. No, they want to do that. They want to make this whole thing, they want to do this hoopla thing and have people actually claiming that they're trying to assist or they're trying to bring attention to whatever the issue is, but then they're causing the same issues that the mandates and whatever else is causing. The same problems. People not being able to work because, whatever. Traffic, nuts, because these guys have their truck going, 20 on the highway, stopping people from going where they're going, right? Like we were talking about, the thing with the stores getting shut down or whatever like that, right? So now, remember the whole idea is it's a two-headed coin, right? And the protesters are part of the issue, not just the people who are causing these people to protest, right? Just like we say with the computer, the virus, the antivirus people are the virus people. The guys who say, get the antivirus thing in your computer and whatever like that, protect your computer and all that stuff, those are the guys who make the viruses that the computers have.
Yeah, they tell you too.
Right? Yeah. Right? Right? Because it's part of the same beast. It's the same system. Right? The people's perception is that there's this divide, and then over there, and then over here, and then these ones are fighting or whatever. When that's not what it is. What's going on is that you have a dumbed down society. You have insurgents that are hired, right? Quote unquote crisis actors and all that stuff, right? They're hired to go up there and play as if this is some rights thing for some mandate, whatever. But then they're not going to tell about, well, if they're protesting rights and all that stuff, then why they messing with statues and stuff like that? Why are they going on tombs of soldiers or whatever like that, marching up and down the place and all that stuff? Why are they doing things like that unless they're part of the problem? And if they're part of the problem, then obviously this is not about some mandate solution or whatever, because like we said, the simple solution is you have 85% of the truckers freaking vaccinated. You're really telling me that this 15% of 100% is the problem? 15% is the problem. for stuff getting shipped all over the place when the 85% have the thing and they could go by the border and whatever. Something else is going on here. It can't be some vax mandate thing. Can't be some fighting against that. Because we're only talking, who are all these people that are out? Because it's not only signs of how democracy's messed up, for people to see in their face that, hey, democracy is pretty messed up. If 15% of the people could shut a city down, right? And not that they went there and shut it down. The city said, we're shutting down because these people are coming here to protest and we don't want any issues, right? So they're just shutting down the city so they could go drive up and down the place all they want, right? But you're not hearing them shutting down gas stations though, at 150 or whatever like that. They're not shutting them down. You know, insurance, they ain't shutting no insurance down, right? Right? So they're going through this thing of beating up on the protesters now because, you know, they're desecrating stuff and they're, you know, putting hats on Terry Fox statues. Why are they doing that? They shouldn't. Well, it's a statue, first of all. You know what I mean? Like, it's a statue. What's the problem? Statue's been sitting there. Birds shit on it. You don't care. Like, why you care? Why you care about this stuff going on, right? They were talking about people got Nazi stuff up and all that. It's like, okay, right? Brad West, mayor of Fox hometown of BC, Terry Fox hometown, said, touching a statue of Fox is one of those things that you just do not do. Right? Now, when all the stuff came out about all these different Canadian whoever's that were racist or whatever, had slaves or whatever, and these people were toppling their statues and all that stuff, you didn't hear nothing from anybody. They were saying everything was justified because, well, if he had 5 slaves or whatever, then why we got a statue of him? We should tear that down, right? These people know Terry Fox is a quote unquote Canadian icon. So if they go mess with his statue, of course stuff's gonna be news. Of course it's gonna be news. He's the man for these people. You know what I mean? He's the unifier of Canada, running across the country for cancer and all this stuff. Like, you know what I mean? They're going to look at it from this perspective of, oh my gosh, why are they doing that to the, opposed to saying, well, how about you guys give these people what they want so they can go back to where they came from and we can get back to normal life? How about stop talking about, you know, the victims are the problem and talk about the problem. Mm-hmm. Problem is that it's 85% of the population, 90% of the population, whether you're talking U.S., whether you're talking here, 90% of the people have the thing. What's the issue here? Why is stuff still going on as if 2% of the people have it and they're trying to get everybody else on board with something? It's madness.
That's not the, it's just, you know, there's a distractor and there's a distraction.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So yep. You gotta focus on the, keeping on your eyes on the distractor while there's a distraction up there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And keep your eyes on the distractor.
Yeah.
So they mask things to make it seem like, you know, this is it. Like, this is the reason why, you know?
Yeah.
I was talking to someone about this. It's like they come up with something every 3 months. Like, it's like they knew this trucking thing was going to be planned, you know? Mm-hmm. They mandate the trucking thing, whatever, every so often, right? So what? So they did the mandate, but they knew the truckers we're going to protest because truckers are on the road every day.
That's
a big thing.
That's what they do.
Peace, man. Yeah.
So they knew. It's like they planned it. It's like they knew that was coming.
Yeah.
You know, and then they have an article about how Trudeau went into hiding because he thinks that he has COVID and
Yeah. You know, obviously he's gonna find himself out the way because you know that's who they're about to go check.
Yeah.
Why else they go in the capital if it's not to go check Trudeau, who's the one who's gonna make the decisions of, you know, whether or not this should be going on or not. You know? But this is and then also keep in mind too that Drew Ali told these Moors, stock up your stuff,
right,
because they're about to shut you down. Right. Make sure you have your 90-day supply, whether it's beans, crackers, and peanut butter or whatever, water. You better have something because shelves are empty right now. If you've been in grocery stores in the past let's say a year, stuff's getting less and less on the shelf, and then the price getting more and more on the thing, right? I was talking to the cashier lady last week sometime, and she's like, "Oh man, it's a good thing that you came today or whatever, you know what I mean? Because we're about to have the sale tomorrow and place is gonna be crazy. We don't even know what to do. We don't even have enough stuff. We don't even know what to do. Why are they doing a sale right now? I have no idea. But they're gonna do a sale, so good thing you came today to get your stuff. You didn't get the sale stuff, but you don't want to be in here tomorrow.
So
you don't want to be in here tomorrow, huh?
So after they get the sale stuff, what are they gonna do with the inventory?
Is there gonna be inventory after that?
Right.
Is there gonna be inventory? Or are they gonna start doing their little thing limit and peel off the expiry date, put a new one on there?
Well, I heard in Quebec they're actually doing the whole thing with you can't go into stores if you want to see the QR code, and if you do, and if you want to go, only place you can go is pharmacy, and someone escorts you into the pharmacy or whatever to do your thing.
Crazy.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So so that's where it's at. The main thing to pull out of this thing is Nobujuali told us that they're gonna block you from getting food. So make sure you have a little stock of something, right? He said 90 days, people, 90-day stuff, where you putting all this stuff, and then if the 90 days pass and now you got to eat all this stuff. Right?
Pistachios in Walmart, they always used to carry them like abundance.
Yeah.
They don't hear that for
weeks. Can't even find it. Yeah. So whatever stuff you could get,
even orange juice,
get it. You know what I mean? And stash a little something. I know people in their little on their I'm vegan and all that stuff, and the sodium of the whatever. You better go get some canned stuff. Stop playing around because ain't nothing else lasting right now. If you realize, you name the vegetable or the fruit. Stuff isn't lasting 2 weeks now, right? Blueberries are gone in a week. In a week, they start turning white and getting soft or whatever. Like you're not getting, so that too. Get all your frozen fruit and all that stuff. Stack up on your frozen fruit so you at least drink some smoothies when the stuff gets nuts, right? Because then again too, remember too with the whole thing with the protest of the thing, they're talking about lifting the mandate so now places could open to 50% starting tomorrow.
Okay.
Right? So if they're open at 50% starting tomorrow, and then they haven't been getting stock for the past 4 months or 5 months, what are they opening to sell? What are they really getting by opening 50%? The guise is that, because they're open now, so things are gonna start getting back to, but that's only gonna happen if you have stock. If you don't have any stock and you're open, it's useless to be open because you can't serve anybody with no stock. That they're not gonna have, because everybody's in Ottawa right now. They ain't delivering jack right now, right? So just make sure you got your little stuff.
Like the prophets, those little statements. Now he says, when you stand at the corner stores, you're gonna have bayonets and soldiers with bayonets. It reminds me of like that coming around. It's like warming up to come to that.
Martial.
These protesters going on the way they're going on. You say they shut down a food bank.
Yeah.
They shut down a food bank for what?
Yeah.
Now what? So when is it restored back to normal, right? I guess that's when that's coming, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One of the Moors was saying about creating the link with the Caribbean for the whole food thing, right? But remember that because of IMF sanctions and all that stuff, they can't even export stuff. All they could do is import stuff that they don't want, which is why in 2017, when I went to Tobago 2017, man went to lunch and came back with a Coke and some Snickers bars. But then when you go check the gully, mangoes like water.
Right.
Just mangoes.
Like
mangoes just on the tree. Just bare birds, just.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because everybody wants grapes and apples. Seedless grapes, apples, pears. You know what I mean? Not even that they don't want. They can't even create the own stuff that they grow right there. And the stuff that they grow right there is going to waste because everybody wants White Castle and Kentucky and all this other BS, right? So we could play that stuff all we want about, the brothers and all that stuff. Well, that's what Garvey was doing, and look what they did to him. And then nobody picked up the stuff after that. The stuff just fell to trash after that. When he was building those, he was trying to build those relations so that we could have our own transportation of trade, whatever goods and stuff like that we need from wherever, right? But they didn't want that. They wanted their Negro stuff. So now they're complaining. Don't complain. Just know that this is what we get for violating the prophet. This is what we get for violating our ancestors. This is what we get for not doing what we're supposed to do in the first place, right? So, being that we're in the time right now of, you almost don't have a choice in the physical, whether you're you got a nationality, stateless, or whatever like that. These people are violating. So, what else is there? Like we were talking about the other day, it's about going within them. It's about going back to the principles and giving some energy to those things to try to change the frequency. Not, go march or go do these physical things to try to get out of the situations that you're. Maybe it's time to do some divine things. Maybe it's time to light some sage and some incense or something like that. Instead of playing this thing of, you got to fight these people in order to win some. So we're just going to take an excerpt from our 7 principles of love that we were reading last week. Again, just to put out a different frequency that's been out there, because what's out there isn't assisting anything. All this causing more destruction. Yeah. So this is love in its many intricacies. The 7 love actions as a force: giving, responding, respecting, knowing, humility and intimacy, courage and commitment, caring. Publisher's note: the above must be understood as follows. In order to be caring, you must be giving. In order to respond, you must have courage and commitment. In order to be respecting of others, you must have humility and intimacy. All of the above is centered around your knowing. Right? So it goes back to the theme with Moors, that it's all about studying, it's all about acquiring information. Nobody should be being master of anything and then draw the line. I'm not crossing the line because I'm the man. I don't need to learn anything more, right? Whatever like that. It's supposed to be constant learning. It's supposed to be constant knowing. Because again, all the above, giving, responding, respecting, humility and intimacy, courage and commitment, caring, all revolve around knowing. So if you don't have knowing, then you're not going to have any of those other things, which is why right now you see how society is, that you don't have giving. Giving is a rare thing. Responding, you put it out there, and most times you're not getting a reply, right? And then if you do get a reply, it's not what you're looking for, because people have their own thing that they're doing. Respecting, the concept of respect is lost if some young people are going to go punch old people in the face just because they can, right? There's no respect if I order Uber Eats, and that guy is gonna go take a dump before he drops off my stuff, but he has my food with him in the thing. There's no respect there, right? Humility and intimacy. Nobody is humble, right? There's no humility. There's no just do unto others and all that, right? There's I want, me, I want, give me this, give me that, arrogance, narcissism. There's all these things that, right? There's no intimacy, no courage, no commitment, no caring. And all of that is because people have strayed away from knowing. That's all they did. They stopped knowing. Everybody started being told what stuff is. And then again, we have Drew Ali saying, man knows not by being told. So why are you listening? Well, Taj said that I thought man knows not by being told. But you telling me that he said something. What do you say? Forget what he said. Forget, Raz said that we should. What do you say? Have the people been studying themselves so that they can know what's going on? Or are they waiting for somebody to tell them? And then when they don't get told, then they're complaining about that. Mm-hmm. Then all you have to do is go check it out yourself. I was talking with a Moor yesterday or day before, and she's saying how, all I do right now is look up stuff. Like everything that comes up, I'm just gonna look it up just to check, just to make sure that I know what the hell I'm talking about. Just because, like, this is the new mind now. Yeah. The new mind is, I'm not going with they said something and then I'm just going with it. Whatever they said, I'm gonna go check, just to check. You know what I mean? So I can be sure that, okay, they said, whatever word. Okay, let me check and make sure that I know what this word means. All right. Any comments before we go on? Positive and negative love. Love gives or provides positively. Negative ego gives or provides negatively. Love gives security, pleasure, vulnerability and honesty, trust, intimacy and caring, reduced sense of loss, knowing. Negative ego gives insecurity, pain, callous lies, suspiciousness, beholding and unfairly obligated loss, confusion and confounded. The opposite or negative of the above is written on the right of the positives. It is to be understood in terms of 7 stages. Thus, the above map is to be understood as follows. One who is knowing is secure, as you will not have security unless you are knowing. A reduced sense of loss brings pleasure. Loss, or the thought that you are at a loss, causes displeasure. We seek to have pleasure so that we can experience a reduced sense of loss. You cannot experience intimacy and caring unless you are vulnerable and honest. Trust is the overall center point. A person who provides and gives love must trust. Right? And then truth is one of our principles. So then if we just stick to the principles, then we're going to have all the positivity that love gives, which is also one of the principles. Right? Conversely, a person who is confused and confounded is insecure. A person who experiences loss feels pain. A person who is beholden and unfairly obligated becomes callous and tells lies, which means they lie to themselves. All of these points describe the characteristics of a suspicious person. And then going back to, if you're not going to go with the principles and recognize that that's where it's at, right? Then you're no different than Negro, black, colored, or whatever like that, because those are the most suspicious people out there. Black guy comes around, everybody's grabbing their purse or whatever like that. You know, you're in the elevator with a black guy, got holding up the purse tight. You know, black guy go to a store, people are, you know, following them around, whatever like that. Why are they doing that? Because they're suspicious of them, right?
You know, the old lady.
Meanwhile, she, you know,
cart full of
stuff she just stole, right?
I've seen it.
Cart full of stuff. Yep, I seen that at freaking when there used to be HMV. Yeah, used to work at HMV, and there was always this thing about, you know, well, watch out for, you know, the suspects look like, you know, they wear big clothes, they wear whatever like that, and the people who be robbing the place blind is the guy with shirt and tie. Shirt and tie guy robbing the place blind, because you nobody looking at him, nobody concerned with the shirt and tie guy, you know, briefcase full of CDs, right? Just for that same thing, suspicion. Levels of love. The following map is an exception to the 7 rule, as it has 7 on the physical side and 7 corresponding levels on the semi-spiritual side. Thus a total of 14. 14 corresponding levels. The first corresponds with the 14th, the second with the 13th, the third with the 12th, the fourth with the 11th, etc. Physical functioning and semi-spiritual functioning. Physical functioning levels of love. Security love, sensual love, conditional love, self-love and unconditional, societal love, love for humanity, and cosmic love. Semi-spiritual functioning, total being, beyond self and energy, merging self and energy, energy as love, thought, idea as love, motion as love. So 1 to 14, but out of the, from 1 to 7, they correspond security love to total being, sensual love to beyond self and energy, conditional love to merging self and energy, self-love and unconditional love is love energy, societal love is thought, humanity is the idea love, and cosmic is the motion of love. So for example, when we look at cosmic being motion, we're looking at when they say order out of chaos, that you're looking at things and they might appear that they're just doing all whatever they're doing, but it's actually in order, and it's just your perception of it is making it be out of order, but it's actually in order. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do, even if it's chaotic. So the idea of cosmic love is the motion of the planets, the motion of the stars, the motion of the revolution of them, the energy that's emitting from Venus on a Friday, why the energy is like that, humanity and the idea love, that you have to look at, like what Drew Ali said, uplift and fallen humanity, right? That's not a duty or a job or whatever. That's an idea. Once you have that idea that humanity is who you're serving, and then you do that unconditionally, you do that just because it has to be done, then the idea takes manifest. The idea takes hold. But the whole concept of having the idea within yourself and then you projecting that onto others is humanity, right? Going back again to the concept of mind, societal and thought, that what we see going on, even if we use this whole thing with the pandemic and whatever, right? It's a lack of thought why that stuff exists. Because if people thought, they would realize that ain't nothing wrong with society. Everybody has the common cold. A majority of people who died from the stuff, they had some type of previous issue that the cold compromised their issue, right? But they're not going to put on the death certificate they died of 50 things that they had before thing. They died of the V, right? They died from that. That's it. There's nothing else that was, and then all of a sudden, 3 years later, now flu pops up again, people getting flu again, people start sniffling again and stuff like that, when you weren't seeing that 3 years ago. They weren't even talking about it. Now it's back. And then now that they flick the flu switch, now they have, 500 different variants of the stuff that you're going to need boosters for the next 20 years. Right? Yeah. You need the booster for 20 years because this quote unquote virus is morphing and it's changing into so many different things. And, I think they said they got 16 different things right now.
So initially, the shot was supposed to prevent the virus, but isn't the shot, haven't all shots been like the flu shot, whatever type of shot it is that they give you to fight that virus that it is? Isn't it always the thing of that is the virus that they're giving you?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Or if not that virus, something else.
Right.
Yeah. If not the thing that they're saying the shots for, just like just like the computer, right? Go over there and get the computer antivirus, but then that has the thing in it that's gonna mess your computer up, right? When they said, who was it again? I think it was Omar I was talking to with his slave that, well, they didn't even have anything with regard to exemptions or whatever.
Yeah.
There wasn't even a thought to them that some people might not want to take the thing.
Right.
They just assumed everybody's going to be down. Right? Right? Like, no, there's no option. So people can say, well, I don't think I want to take whatever like that. Now they don't know it, now they're stuck, right? Because in certain industries, you need the people in there. So like, for example, in the health industry, they're telling well, if you had COVID and if you feel sick and you got symptoms, you could still go to work. Like, what do you mean I can go to work if I have the thing and then this stuff is going to be spread to everybody else in there or whatever? Why would you tell me that it's okay to go there? Right. And then if it's okay for me to go, then why isn't it okay for everybody else to go? Because it should be across the board then. You know what I mean? That if you have symptoms, then everybody should be able to go wherever, and there shouldn't be any lockdowns or anything like that, because everybody should be good. You know, if the cure is quarantine for 14 days, and after 14 days everybody's good, then what's the lockdown and stuff for? People get the stuff, you send them home, and you bring in whoever else that doesn't have it, and then that's that, right? But again, just showing that the lack of having consciousness, even, you know, that we can even go beyond thought. That thought's been gone for, you know, just like common sense hasn't been common for a long time. Well, people thinking hasn't been going on for a long time, and now they're on the brink of not having their consciousness even, while being alive, while being still, you know, supposedly thinking. They don't even have access to their own mind. They don't even have access to their own consciousness. They don't even have access to their own soul. They don't even know that they're spirit man. They're so gone, they think that they're just the physical and that's it. You know what I mean? Go to work, come home, eat some food, go to sleep, and then go to work tomorrow. You know what I mean? And they never went and took a walk. They never been in nature. They never had some water. You know what I mean? All they know is box juice and whatever. Right? Publisher's note. The above must be understood as follows. Security love leads to total being love, to the understanding that love is a motion that moves the cosmos. Sensual love leads to love beyond self and energy and operates as love as an idea and the love for humanity. Conditional love leads to the merging of self and energy love as ideas for society. This is focused with the determination of self-love and unconditional love. To see love as a principal movement of the cosmos, as a positive energy in motion, a positive motive. In addition, if one thinks about it further, one can see the possibility of the following. Fulfillment of cosmic love is love manifest as motion, the essence of the cosmos. Fulfillment of societal love is love manifest as thought. Fulfillment of self and unconditional love is love manifest as energy. Fulfillment of conditional love is love manifest as merging self and energy. Fulfillment of sensual love is love manifest as beyond self and energy. Fulfillment of security love is love manifest as total being, the ultimate security. This is better understood after we are able to function on the levels 8 through 14, of which we cannot do until we have evolved beyond the human form levels 1 to 7 into greater non-physical spiritual form. Anything that moves and changes has 7 steps. Anything that is static and does not change has 4 structured forms, which means the unfolding of the above detailed explanation is indefinite or infinite, such that it would begin to couple back onto itself. Each level of action of love are tangible, discernible, and logical, although maybe not linearly logical and more often exponentially logical in holographic metaphorical manner. The functional requirement of love to exist with its 7 actions and its 7 potential provisions is for impact to exist in the universe. So again, going back to the idea of as above, so below, right? Going back to all the universal laws, the law of correspondence, that, you know, if I love here, then it's only natural that I love there. And if there's no love here, then there ain't no love going there, right? So this is where that was 7 Principles of Love, and that's on rvbaypublications.com. Universal Truth Maps Secrets of Manifestation. If anybody saw the interview we did with Salman Sheikh, the spiritual reflections of the Sufi Freemason is the book, if you want to check it out, and we're just going to take some excerpts from that as well, which is going to coincide with what we just read. And again, to show the thin line between Sufism and Moorish science and Masonry, and everything is about the mystical side of it. So when we look at Moorish science, Freemasonry, and Sufism, and we put those next to their physical counterparts, or the perspectives of them being looked at physically, right? You're going to have, in Moorish science, you're going to have the Moors who are democracy, passive, not doing things in line with spiritual and metaphysical and all that. They're stuck in the mundane. When you look at the Sufi contradiction, you're going to see the mosque people, the pray 5 times a day people, the no pictures of Muhammad and all that stuff, because everybody knows he was a brother, and if you show him, then it gives up the whole game, right? Everybody knows that other than the physical being Muhammad, just like the physical being Jesus is really the sun, it's really an astrological thing. It has nothing to do with some man walking around or whatever, right? And the Freemason part of it, where you have the operative Mason and the speculative Mason. You have the Masons who are actually building, and they're actually bringing their vibrations up, they're bringing their thoughts up, they're bringing their energy to a certain level. And then you have the ones who all they could do is, see things and speculate on it, but nothing is applicable. Everything is based in, they're not doing it real time, right? So again, this is Spiritual Reflections of the Sufi Freemason. And this is the chapter on ascend higher or be recycled back into the 3D earth box. Ascend higher or be recycled into the 3D earth box. If 99% of us in this world can get out of this tribal mindset of difference of country, race, religion, and come together, then you can create a beautiful world. That's the reason why the 1% at the top control the 99% of you, and they call you useless eaters, because you do not do it for yourself. It's nobody to blame but yourself. A snake eats its own tail, so you have to be willing to change yourself. Once you change yourself, then the inner frequency of your inner temple will manifest outside into the external world. Once you change yourself, then the inner frequency of your inner temple will manifest outside into the external world. So when we look at all these things going on, societal things that people have issues with, all those things are created from the people not having their self right inside, right? If you can do that, if you can change your spirit and your physical and spiritual and mental attitude and improve yourself from the inside out, then the frequency you project will turn this whole place around. You can go to neighborhoods that are bad and imagine if they all did that and they all got on the same page. That neighborhood would change overnight. If they all start projecting that positive frequency, if they all get together, because we are the reality that we create. So if you haven't seen Stick Up Kids, Stick Up Kids is dealing with that same idea, right? That these quote unquote drug whoever's realize that, well, hey, if we put money back in the community, then we could run the place. And then at the end of it, they realize that, well, their granddad was, he had the Moorish information and all that stuff, that they didn't even need the drug stuff. Mm-hmm. All they needed was the lessons. All they needed was knowing about they're indigenous to the land, that all this stuff is theirs. They know mayor and they have the power and whatever like that. The people have the power. But if the people are stateless, then the power goes to the rest. Right. You get sent back here until you learn your lesson. You can't get any clearer than that. You have to be willing to put the effort in and try to make this world a better place, and try to find out and get together with people to find out who in your community needs help. Who needs help in applying for college? Who needs help with food assistance? And who's out here in poor areas that might need a hot meal? Why don't you all come together for something like that instead of arguing about different things, about movies or other issues, about celebrities that in the end, that is not going to make any difference in your life? The spiritual and Masonic significance of Jacob's ladder. I think with all of the chaos and confusion and all the things that are going on in today to divide mankind, we need to follow the teachings of Jacob's ladder more than ever. And Jacob's ladder is in any faith you look up to climb your obstacles, whether man-made or spiritual, that get placed in our lives, to know that, okay, this is where I stand and this is what we need to do. So as builders, rather be stuck in one place and say, okay, I have always done it this way or that way, and I feel comfortable doing it. Step out of your comfort zone and take your first step on the ladder or on that staircase and go all the way up until you become one with the source again. And that's through your heart. So you have to clean out your heart and clean out all the negativity or agendas that have fallen astray to you by agents of chaos that exist in all races, religions, and groups in the world, and whose enemy is humanity. You derail their agenda with politeness through knowledge and education by becoming one with the Creator. When becoming one with your fellow man, if you follow these teachings of Jacob's ladder, to go starting from your lower nature, from the rock bottom, and climb all the way up to where you're supposed to be, because we've been fallen as mankind. We're in our fallen state. We fell from heaven, and that's why we need to get back up the ladder to start putting that work in, to climb right back to where our original place is supposed to be. And we need to get on that. And to turn the TVs off. Turn off the televisions. Because that's what they do. They tell lies to your vision. And they're the ones that tell you who to hate, who to like, what to do, and what to believe. Make up your own judgment. We look at the people in our communities, your local communities, and it's people of all backgrounds, complexions, races, faiths, and everyone lives together peacefully. Don't let their agenda of hysteria tell you who to hate, who to love, and when, and then who to like. The next day, you've been given your own free will to decide the path, which path is better for you. And I believe in today's world, the significance of Jacob's ladder is needed more than ever. Right, so one of the points in here about we're in our fallen state. So when they talk about where do you live, whatever like that, and they start talking about provinces and cities and states and all that stuff, right? Know that all those things are created based on a fallen state. All those things are created because of society or humanity being in a place of being fallen. And again, going back to Drew Ali's name, uplift fallen humanity, or uplift the fallen state. Get out from being in the non-love dimensions of existence and raise the frequency to the love places, right? And again, with the whole concept of the Jacob's ladder and climbing up the ladder, that those are the climbing is from the lower to the higher. And the lower to the higher is your consciousness. The lower to the higher is your chakras. The lower to the higher is going from hatred to love, going from self-hatred to self-love, raising something. Once you're at the top of the ladder, then you're at a platform where there's going to be a ladder there to go to the next level that you're trying to get to, right? And going back to the thing we were saying earlier, that it's always about the principles with us, because we've done so much dirt as a people. We've messed up stuff as far as what we see today going on out there, and then we're looking at some Europeans and blaming them for some stuff when they learned everything from us. So what you mean? It's them. If we taught them everything that they know, then we got to take some responsibility for the things that we or our ancestors would have had a hand in. Right? How many thoughts on those things? The ascending higher and the Jacob's ladder. Yeah. It's to the point. Like it's
even if you don't know that our ancestors taught them everything, even without that knowledge, you still have to take some kind of accountability on how you are. Sorry, I got distracted. My train of thoughts lost. Let me take this home. Sorry.
No worries.
Yeah, that's pretty much sums it up in there. No one else can do it except yourself. So
yeah,
there could be some assistance, some guidance, but at the end of the day, it's self. And then it says in the Koran too, right? We all have free will.
Yeah.
But our will that was given to us, when we fell, the will became sluggish. And then now you gotta think, well, what does that mean? So now you gotta think, now you gotta raise the willpower.
Yeah.
So before you even start, stepping up, the ladder, because it takes will to step up, right?
Yeah.
a little sluggish.
Yeah. And again, just look at a slug. If your will's like that, if your will is a slug, you got problems. You need to go do some breathing or something. You check yourself, because there's nothing good coming out of that.
But I was talking to someone too about the whole thing with love and raising the vibration. Also, it's like we're charged beings. We're you know what I'm saying. We're electric beings. Mm-hmm. So now you gotta think. It's like the motherboard. You know what I mean? You want the upgrade. You gotta make sure you know what I'm saying. There's no juice poured on the motherboard. Yeah. You gotta make sure there's no fuses. The fuses aren't expanded. Like it's the same thing with the human process. It's like when you feed yourself, it's gonna determine your sense of like where you're at with love. Mm-hmm. You can't someone that loves animals. Yeah. Is not gonna eat an animal. Yeah. Straight.
You can't tell me about Johnny and then shake the dog and all that stuff where you're eating the cows or whatever.
Right? That's where it's at, like ultimately, right?
Yeah.
It's to raise the vibration,
raise the frequency. Yeah.
You gotta change what you're putting on the inside.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I guess the old saying, you are what you eat, right?
Yeah, for real. Choose love and not fear. Always be mindful at somebody that keeps repeating something to you on a daily basis, because they do have some kind of motive behind that. But on the same side, you practice all of those health and safety guidelines for your safety and for the safety of your family. At the same time, the message of my entry is to stop living in fear, because more people are getting sick because of that mentality. All they're hearing is negativity on the news, and that translates into physical pain as well. And everybody that has went through emotional or any kind of other stresses knows that it gets to you so much that it will eventually start translating into your physical ailments and physical pain. So don't let that bring your spiritual vibrations down. This is the year of change, the year where many things people neglected, such as their selves, their relations with their families, spouses neglected each other. You can't do that now, because now you've been put in the position where you have to face all of it. Peace, brother. How you doing? Alaikum salam, bro.
Long time no see.
Yeah. We're still here. How's everything?
How about you, sir?
Yes, everything's good.
I was missing to see you.
Yeah. We've been here. But
Brother Umar.
yeah, he had some family stuff to deal with today.
Oh,
He's not here today.
Oh. Yeah. How is going? How was your vacation?
Yeah, everything's good. Taking it easy.
You
Not
can continue.
no stress. Yeah. No problem.
I can come like 15 and
Yeah. All right, no problem. Anybody that has went through emotional or any kind of other stresses knows that it gets to you so much that it will eventually start translating into your physical ailments and physical pain. So don't let them bring down your spiritual vibrations. This is the year of change, the year where many things people neglected, such as their selves, their relations with their families, spouses, neglected each other. So you can't do that now, because now you've been put in the position where you have to face all of it. And to face it, you have been put in the situation where if you don't face it, then you'll have to deal with your own consequences. Start healing yourselves, your families. Spend time with all the things that you neglected, including yourselves, your health, and start enjoying what this life is about. Come out and breathe. Stop staying inside all the time, because that will make you weaker. Come out and get some fresh air. Become one with nature again, because that's when man will truly heal, is when he gets back to nature. And he just shows you that at the end of the day, What power does man really have, especially those that spent their whole lives getting over on others, throwing other people under the bus to get where they are today? They're sitting home just like everyone else. Their powers, their connections, who they know, what they know is practically useless at this point because it's nature, and that's your true nature. You know how to say this. You know how to say this is the person's true nature. Our true nature is nature itself. We need to become one with earth and the air and the elements and all of the others, and all of that is in order for us to mentally and physically and emotionally, spiritually heal ourselves and become good again. How to protect yourself against satanic energy attacks. Also, it is about your intent. So if you have good intent about everything, let's say that you have good intent about your food, your actions, your well-being, and you put that intent before you drink the water, you eat the food, you do all of those things, then any negative effects that might be placed on those things for you will be diverted and it will be returned to its sender. Water is a good tool to wash off all of that negativity from you because water is a gateway to other realms. And the throne of the mighty, the throne of the Most High is on water too. What you do is, let's say you come home from work or you come home from school and you make a bath for yourself or you get in the shower. Before you get into that water, tell that water that I thank you for what you're doing for me. I thank you for cleansing all of the negativity, the effects of evil, and anything malevolent off of me that might be affecting me or my family. That will happen for you. It's all about intent. The water that's going to cleanse you anyways, cleanse yourself with water. Water is the best tool, and make sure you put that intent in the water before you do so. If you remember playing the Prince of Persia video game back in the day, the second one, and you see every time he got chased by the demon, it was the water that kept the demon back. The demon could not enter where there is a flow of water covering that area. The water is very important, and water makes 70% of our being. It's majority of this planet, and it's in other realms of the universe. Water is a very prevalent thing. So that water you have to honor within yourself and use that water to cleanse yourself also. In a lot of traditions, in the Hindu traditions, they go to the river, they bathe, and they would use the river to cleanse themselves. In the Sufi traditions, you have similar things. In the Christian traditions, you have them where they put them in the water, baptism or holy water. So you got to be able to put the intent and all those things to cleanse yourself of any evil attacks or attempts that an enemy might be doing, that you will be, because humanity is one of God's most beautiful creations. It's one of the highest creations, and you are also your enemy. He's your enemy, and it's your job and it's his job to destroy you. So what you do is you show that you're full of love and light, and that you're not going to fall into traps of disunity, chaos, black and white, this or that, because anything that creates disunity is ungodly, and you fall into Satan's trap. You got to be making sure that you carry yourself in a unity consciousness, love and light scenario always, and that's what will help you and carry you on to the next realm. You're here in a spiritual school. We're all an extension of the divine creator, helping each other get back to the creator. Because even from my beliefs, we said that Allah is the only reality. By saying that we said everything else is an illusion and everything else is destined to get back to where it originated from, for us to do that, for us to get back to the source from where we all came from, we all need to love each other and be kind to each other and to be understanding of each other and not to fall into traps that the agents of chaos have set out for you. They exist in all races, religions, and creeds and groups. Good and bad is everywhere. Always keep yourself in a high vibration. Don't let anybody put you in any kind of trap where they put you in a state of hopelessness, because there's nothing to be hopeless about. Everything is within you. Don't need to be thinking that, okay, what do I do now? What I do tomorrow or the next day. You will always be loved, provided for, and cared for. If you made it this far in your life, that means there is something out there that loved you enough to help guide you to the position where you are today. There's always struggles and heartbreaks, and good times and bad times, and lovable moments and not lovable moments, but they're all there to shape you into who and help you become who you are today. Don't let any of that get under your skin. Be happy always, because you're always loved. Thank you, and make sure you put your intent into everything and keep yourself in a state of cleanliness. So again, that's Spiritual Reflections of the Sufi Freemason, Volume 1 by Salman Sheikh. Right? Anybody wants to go look into that. And I will close out with our Circle 7 reading. We're looking at chapter 3. Chapter 3, which is Elihu's lessons, the unity of life. Again, Elihu met his pupils in the sacred grove and said, "No man lives unto himself, for every living thing is bound by cords to every other living thing." Peace more. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will love and not demand love in return. They will not do to other men what they would not have other men do unto them. There are two selves, the higher and lower self. The higher self is the human spirit clothed with soul, made in the form of Allah. The lower self is the carnal self. The body of desires is a reflection of the higher self, distorted by the murky ethers of the flesh. The lower self is an illusion and will pass away. The higher self is Allah in man and will not pass away. The higher self is the embodiment of truth. The lower self is truth reversed, and so is falsehood manifest. The higher self is justice, mercy, love, and right. The lower self is what the higher self is not. The lower self breeds hatred, slander, lewdness, murders, theft, and everything that harms. The higher self is the mother of virtues and the harmonies of life. The lower self is rich in promises, but poor in blessedness and peace. It offers pleasure, joy, and satisfying gain, but gives unrest, misery, and death. It gives men apples that are lovely to the eye and pleasant to the smell. Their cores are full of bitterness and gall. If you would ask what to study, I would say study yourselves. And when you have studied them and then would ask me what to study next, I would reply, yourselves. He who knows well his lower self knows the illusions of the world, knows of the things that will pass away, and he knows his higher self. And he who knows his higher self knows Allah, knows well the things that cannot pass away. Thrice blessed is the man who has made purity and love his very own. He has been ransomed from the perils of the lower self and is himself his higher self. Men seek salvation from an evil that deem a living monster of the netherworld, and they have gods that are but demons in disguise, all powerful yet full of jealousy and hate and lust, whose favors must be bought with costly sacrifice of fruits and of the lives of birds and animals and humankind. And yet these gods possess no ears to hear, no eyes to see, no heart to sympathize, no power to save. This evil is a myth. These gods are made of air and clothed with shadows of a thought. The only devil from which man must be redeemed is self and lower self. If man would find his devil, he must look within. His name is self. If man would find his savior, he must look within. And when the demon self has been dethroned, the savior love will be exalted to the throne of power. The David of the light is purity, who slays the strong Goliath of the dark and seats the savior love upon the throne. Islam. All right, so Elihu's lessons, chapter 3, the unity of life. No man lives unto himself, for every living thing is bound by cords to every other living thing. Right, so going back to the 7 principles of love and the idea of, being humanitarian and looking out for the highest in others, so you can be inspired to give the highest within yourself. Recognizing that because every living thing is bound by a cord, someone can't be suffering and you're not empathetic to that. Someone can't be going through a hard time and you're not, trying to alleviate whatever pressure it is that they're going through, whether you can solve the problem or not. The obligation of us is to make sure that we're there for those who are less fortunate, as well as every living thing being bound by a cord shows what Solomon was talking about, that it doesn't matter what nation, religion, creed, whatever that you're connected to, there's a deeper connection that all living beings have. There's when we're saying that every living thing is bound by a cord, if you're bound, there's no escape from this connection that you have with other living beings, right? The same way that when we were talking about the water, that's a living organism. That's a real living thing that you can talk to it, and it's gonna deal with you how you deal with it. If you I can't remember the lecture, but there was this Japanese scientist that did tests with water and talking positive to water, talking negative to water, and then freezing it. And then the crystallization of the water represented, or the freezing of the water showed crystallization of chaos, because that's what when he talked hate to the water, and 5-point stars and 6-point stars and things that are in harmony with nature when he talked love to the water, to show that these things. And then if you go through all the elements, then all the elements are that same thing. Fire is that same thing. You could talk to it and it's gonna either burn you up or keep you warm. Earth talking to it, air talking to it. There's time, when Garvey said, "Catch me in the whirlwind," and then you see all these tornadoes in places or whatever like that, and you realize that, he spoke to the energies. That wasn't just some blank statement. If we're really looking at the power of the word and the things that are being said, and he said, "Catch me in the whirlwind," every time you see one of those, you should automatically think that that's Garvey. if you hot sweltering day and then you get that breeze come through that just makes you say, oh yeah, that was a good breeze. Just know that that was him giving you what it is that you probably had in your mind. I wish there was a breeze right now or whatever. Then the breeze comes, you should probably highly consider that you channeled those energies, right? Any other thoughts on any verses? You could just put those out.
Can we do some question if I have in my mind?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, if you have, you can go right now. If you have questions.
After reading these stuff, like before you study on from the Sufism book.
Yeah.
I just want to know that we believe all in Allah. That
Yeah.
Allah is our creator and He is our Lord, and whatever are His commandments, we need to fulfill that.
Mm-hmm.
And there should be some purpose why we track here,
Mm-hmm.
and what is the benefit we want to take.
Mm-hmm.
But what I see that from your teachings or from your books, you are not reading from Quran at all.
Mm-hmm.
Allah's book is like, if you say like moon is shining,
Yeah.
you are supposed to take the light to the benefit from the moon.
Mm-hmm.
These books are like stars. Definitely, it has positive things. They are good, but it doesn't have that much light that can guide you, or whatever these are things are from a human conceptions.
Mm.
These are not from Allah's conceptions. What I am seeing, like sitting here, that what I see that you are not connected to Allah or to His teaching or to His commandments at all. You don't even give some time, like 10, 20 minutes, 30 minutes to Quran, to read His commandments and to spend your life according to the conception He wants.
Right.
You're just reading from, like I said, from the start. I said I have no like. I don't deny that it has not. These are positive things.
Right.
We are supposed to take a light from Quran.
Yeah.
Quran is like Allah Himself, and on the other side you have creatures.
Yeah.
The creatures has not that much imagination, or so. What would I request, or what would I suggest, that if you could include Quran in your teachings, or whenever you are studying, you should study from Quran, because this is direct message from Allah to you, to all the audience.
But it was a direct message from Allah through the Prophet Muhammad, right?
No, Allah Himself, He said in Quran that I sent this book and there will be no change in this book. And this is my own book. No human can write. I can show you from the verses.
But this is what I mean. That if we're saying, if just like we say, just like somebody in Christianity is going to say, heaven is rivers of milk and honey, right? There's no milk, there's no honey, there's no river in heaven. Heaven doesn't have those things. Those are physical things. So if Allah sent a book, Allah would have sent a message and then somebody put it in a book. But Allah, there's no way Allah sent a book, because Allah is not physical. Book is physical.
Okay.
So when we look at the Koran and Islam and things like that, we look at it from the Sufi perspective, which is why we have the Sufi book. Okay. We don't look at it from the mundane religious perspective, like majority of people who would read the book. They would look at it as what's on the page and that's it. But there's a broader message there. Even when we look into when we read the Quran, the broader message is all the stars, right? That without the sun, the moon is useless. Moon would serve no purpose if there's no sun, and the sun is a star, right?
Okay.
So not to take away from the teachings of the Quran,
So
but the
actually,
teachings.
sorry to interrupt you. My question will be that what do you think about Quran? Quran is here in front of you. You know that this book is from Allah. We believe it. No one can change it. Allah Ta'ala Himself said that I will not gonna. I can show you that He said I am the guardian of this book, and there will be no change in this book.
Yeah.
Whatever is the book, wherever you go, the book variant is same, and these are Allah's message. So what?
Sorry, I don't mean
That's
to.
what I don't finish. So what I did not finish my question.
Yeah, no
What
problem.
is your what do you think about Quran? That what is Quran? Like either you should whatever the commandments are there, they are from Allah. Should you follow those commandments, or should you follow the commandments of Sufism or other books? But there's a lot of literature.
Yeah. Well. I mean, when you look at the when you look at Sufism, for example, right? Sufism came before. Sufism is like, for example, Muhammad was a Sufi. He was a spiritual individual. He was a mystic. He was a messenger. He was a prophet. He was a thought of Allah manifested in flesh.
Did you read in Quran what Allah said about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Did you read in Quran?
No.
He said that if there are several things he said about that Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that he is like what should I say, that he cannot make a book by himself. If Prophet Muhammad had made a book by himself, Allah Ta'ala said, we are going to capture his right hand and we are going to slash his neck.
Right.
And he cannot make any book or any change.
Right.
Book is directly from Allah.
Mm-hmm.
Quran is directly from. On the other side, he is so much respectful about Prophet Muhammad that he said, if you said even one single word or raise your voice in front of him, I am going to destroy all of you. Allah said in book, in Quran, I'm going to destroy all of your action or good deeds.
Now that destruction, is that going to happen in the physical, or is that going to happen after they leave? Because sometimes you see Muslims raise their voice all the time, and nothing happened to them in the physical.
No, I'm not saying here. I'm saying in front of Prophet Muhammad that if you raise your voice in front of him, you must be so much respectful. And he said in Quran, these are the verses of Quran, that if you say that we love you to Allah, that you say that we love to Allah, we all say we love to Allah. And he said in Quran, if you say then you love to Prophet Muhammad, then you follow to Prophet Muhammad. Whatever he did, Allah will love you.
Right. But is that based on Allah sending Prophet Muhammad, or is that based on Prophet Muhammad living a certain way?
I told you that I follow the Quran because for me, Quran is everything. That Quran is the thing that if I follow Quran, I am guided to the right path. But if I don't follow Quran, I follow something like some other books or then I will be distracted.
So now, would you think that because of you following the Quran, right, that Allah led you to meet Noir outside, so that you can come here?
Yes.
For whatever it is that you came here for? That was Allah, or does this not mean anything because we don't read the Quran every day?
We should read. Being a Muslim, being a believer of Allah, if we don't read his message at all, we read something else, we read some other messages.
Right. So that was the difference. That's the difference. That you're a believer. You believe.
You believe on Allah. We all believe on Allah.
We know that man and Allah are one and the same.
Man and Allah are one.
Yeah.
You believe in that.
Yeah.
How comes? Allah is Lord. How Allah has
Because if man was created by Allah, then that means man and Allah are relative. If you have a child, you and your child are relative. Nobody can take that away.
Then Allah created so many creatures. He created cockroaches, he created lions, he created elephants. So what does it mean that they all are Allah?
All for all.
For all. If he created them, who's
So,
the
you cannot make something from yourself. You need to bring something from the Quran. That is what I am saying, that you need to bring Quran in your life. You need to study from there.
No, that's for just like that. That's just like
say anything, and you are doing that.
That's just like somebody Christian saying the Bible is the whatever, and then somebody Jewish saying the Torah is the whatever. Yes, for sure, but that only applies to those believers. That doesn't apply to everybody, because everybody has their own free will. Everybody has their own free will to interpret how they interpret.
We have the will, but Allah said that I purchased your will by paying you the cost of Jannah. You want to go in paradise or you want to go in hellfire? So if you will make your own will and you follow that will, but you don't consult Allah's Quran or Allah's message or Allah's Quran, you do whatever you want. But Allah has purchased your will. So you submit your will to Allah. That okay, I submit my will. So now I have no will.
Right. So if I submit the will to Allah,
Yes.
right? That's all that should matter then. Nothing else should matter, because the creator is Allah, not the Quran.
No.
The
Quran
creator.
is a message. Quran is such a thing.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying not reading the Quran. I'm not saying don't read it, right? I'm not saying don't read it. I'm saying that when we are in our institution, right? We have our Quran that we read every week. We have our
So
Quran.
you don't read your Allah's Quran,
Right.
you read your own Quran.
No, we have our Quran that was divinely prepared by our prophet, that was sent from Allah to us, and he makes mention to us to read the Quran, the Quran of Muhammad.
Okay.
Right. So it's not like we don't read it, right?
So you say that the Quran is from Allah,
Mm-hmm.
correct?
Yeah.
So my question is, if Quran is from Allah, then you should read from Quran. You should try that whatever is written in Quran, that you should submit your will, or you should follow the commandments of Quran.
Right.
That's what I am seeing, that in Quran it is written that once they will be put in the hellfire, they will be asked, people, what brought you in hellfire? They will be asked this question.
Yeah.
What brought? So first thing they will say, we used not to pray. We were not among those. This is the first verse says. We were not among those people who used to pray. And for you, if I'm asking that, you don't even pray at all. Pray means in masjid. These words and these things are in Quran.
Right.
If you want to see that, the first thing is pray.
Mm-hmm.
It is written in Quran, and the prayer is in masjid.
Yeah.
And once it is, everything is. I can show you in Quran.
No, I get you. Yeah.
You know it.
Yeah.
That how comes that without prayer in Quran, you know how much Allah Ta'ala is strict about prayer. He said if you are fighting in you are fighting with non-Muslim.
Yeah.
So if it is prayer time, what you are going to do? You will make a circle outside. Half people will come inside. Half people will fight. And once, doesn't matter, even if you are killed or whatever, you cannot leave the prayer. This is in Quran, I will show you. And once those people are done, they will go outside. The people outside will come in the circle and they will perform their prayer. And then you all will fight together. You cannot leave one single prayer. This is such a strict commandment.
But those
This is Allah's commandment, not me.
Right. But those strict commandments are for people who subscribe to being Muslim.
Not Muslim.
It's not all across.
No. Whoever believes on Allah, whoever believes on Allah.
Right,
Serve
but again,
himself. He says Allah is my Lord.
Right.
Then he should follow the message or commandments he gave.
Right.
Allah gave the commandments.
Right.
And you believe it that these commandments are in Quran.
Mhm.
Quran is from Allah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why you don't do whatever is written in Quran? You don't even
Yeah, because we're not Muslim.
Then you believe on Allah.
We're not Muslim.
Allah, you believe on Allah. You believe that Quran is His book. So you are Muslim. If you are believe on Allah.
We never said we believe in the book. You said you believe in the Muslim.
No. If you believe on Allah, you said that we believe on the Prophet Quran. Your Prophet said that you need to.
Yeah, we study the Quran. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So we study. Yeah.
Your Prophet.
Yeah.
Okay. Once
and we're not saying we don't read it. We read the Quran.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
so
we read the Quran. Not because we don't read it here means that we don't read it.
So you should include this session, like if you are giving message to people like for 2 hours, you should have at least half an hour for Quran. Okay, guys, we are gonna read from Quran, and Allah is our Lord, and we are gonna do whatever He wants us
Well,
to
hear me
do.
out for a second. So there's a church next door, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have their people there. They do their thing every Sunday. And you have probably like a Jewish.
They don't believe on Allah. They believe on God. They have different gods.
So
you don't have different
what
gods.
would you say
They
about
believe,
those people?
You said the other people. Okay, they believe on. They say Jesus is God. They say Mary is God. They say they don't say Allah. But when you say Allah, you say all these things. You say Allah, then it's you are believing on Allah. They don't believe on Allah only. You have.
But Allah and God are one people. It's just different names. They use different names.
If you know, Allah Ta'ala can forgive everything, but He will not forgive we call it shirk, like associating another God with Him, parallel to Him.
No, but why would you think it's another God when we know it's only one? Regardless what they say, if they say God, Jehovah, Yahweh, we know that they're talking about Allah. They can say whatever they want.
How are they?
But we know they're talking about Allah.
Jesus is the son of Allah. They say Jesus is the son of Allah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Allah said that whoever associate any other God, there is no forgiveness. Direct go to hell.
Mm.
There is no forgiveness. Nothing.
Yeah.
But like Allah Ta'ala is very particular about 2 or 3 things. First thing is associating any other God with Him. Second thing is not praying. If you are a Muslim, you believe on Allah, you don't pray. He is very particular that your sustenance will be in doubt. That either He will put you in fire. Like believing on Allah is a key to go to. Eventually, you will go to paradise.
So what about the part of heaven and hell not being a place where you go, but a frame of mind? Do you think that heaven and hell is a place that you go and it has nothing to do with the people's thinking creating the condition? Like whether a positive or a negative condition, you think?
What do you think about hellfire?
One second. You touched the hellfire. Fire. To my knowledge, that's something that burns.
Yeah.
Burn. Burn us all the time. You touch fire, you burn us.
Yeah.
Good. If you die, then when you die now, that body is going to go to hell to burn. It's going to go to burn.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
I see they cremate people. They cremate people.
Cremation.
Burn the body. Have the ashes and they kept it.
Yeah.
Where did that person go?
Where did that person?
Yeah.
I know that.
No, I'm asking you.
I know.
They burn.
Yeah,
Wait, brother. Please bear with me.
Before you started your question, I know that what you are saying. That
You don't know.
been
You don't know.
No,
You
the body
can't.
has been burned, so where it will go? Allah Ta'ala said in Quran, I will show you, we will replace their skin to another skin. A jild, like jild we call this. One is burnt, another skin, okay. One is burnt, another skin. Whole infinity times. It is in Quran. I will show you whenever you want me to show. I will show you. We will buddle their jills. This is
But there is
Quran.
no skin. It's a box of ashes you get, and you don't have to. You could keep it for 1,000 years.
How you can think?
I'm telling you, brother. They burn the flesh. I see they burn it.
He burned
Please bear with me. They burn the body. Give it to you in a box, and you keep it for as long as you want. Did that body go to hell? In hellfire? Or is a box of ashes in my pocket?
No, it will be in. They will be in hellfire.
How?
They will be. I can show you one.
But how when I have it?
This is you.
The same body. I have it in a box. My grandmother's body.
This you think.
Ain't going to hell, bro. I have it.
You have no idea about the powers of Allah. You have no idea. If you read Quran, you will read that Allah said that I am gonna replace their jill, their skin. Once burnt, okay, another skin. Once burnt, another skin.
It's not the skin. It's the whole thing.
Whole thing.
Bone, everything. You say skin.
But
This is not skin alone, brother. The head, the toe, the whole body burned to ashes. One box of ashes.
And he can bring it in 1 second. He can make him and next time again the same human being. I will show you here. This
When
is from my
every
Quran.
human being have to come to the birth of a woman. Every human come here, come to the birth of a mother.
Yeah, I can read it.
It has to come through a mother. So where are you gonna make back that body?
You know,
Have you read it? Have
I
you read the Circle 7 Quran? Because
I
we
can-
know the Quran with the cube, but have you read the Circle 7 Quran? Have you read it for yourself?
no, I did not read it.
That's why you're having, the misconception that,
No, there is
misconception
no
that you're having
misconception.
because
I'm saying
the
that
fact that you haven't.
you believe on Allah.
No, but hear me out. If you don't know for yourself what we're dealing with, then you're taking your beliefs from out there and bringing
And applying it to
No,
this.
I
When it's the exact same thing. Like if you read that, right?
Okay.
If you read that and then you have the Quran next to it, you're gonna see it saying the same thing.
When Allah Ta'ala said the Quran, any other book, I have no objection to reading any other book.
Mm.
But for me, I told you that this is a small star, there are billions of stars, trillions of stars.
Right.
So one ever, I'm saying like at night time, if I am supposed to take the light from, this is what Allah said, that this is my Quran. If you read this from this Quran and you follow this Quran, I will give you the paradise. You submit your will to me, and you do whatever is required.
So you don't think that the greatness of Allah is gonna be in any other book? Only the Quran, that's it? No other book is gonna have the greatness of Allah in there?
There are several books in our masjid now, like I can see there are, but when I read Quran, I forget everything. Like it is miracle. It is not even in English. When I read again and again and again and again, we read means from human, we don't even understand the meaning. We read Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen like from in Arabic, but we never get bored. When I read from Quran, when I see Quran, I all other books, I don't feel any attraction in that book. Those words, these are really from Allah. Like
No, but what if they're saying the same?
Any other book,
What if they're saying the same? What if the message is the same? Because there's if we use for example, if we use Sufi books, right? They're gonna say the same thing that the Quran's saying. Sometimes it might even quote Quran.
I told you I have hundreds of books
Yeah.
in masjid.
So all
written by several people.
yeah.
But Quran has no comparison with any other book on the
What, have you read this one?
I have no objection. I will read it. I told you.
Well, there
Quran.
you go. That's where it stands then. Because if you haven't read the
Even
Circle
if
7,
I read,
you're going to come
I'm
in here
telling
every
you,
time that we have not read the Quran.
I will read
Or Circle
Quran.
7, every time you're going to come in here.
Listen, you
and you
believe.
don't hear, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but let me finish for a second. Every time you come in here, it's going to be the same thing because you're not going to see us just reading from one book. It's going to be multiple different books, and you're going to be like, for you, over in Masjid or where you're at, it's probably just the Quran. For us, we give
It's
honor to
multiple.
Allah,
Yeah.
but we're going into many different things because Allah is the creator of all.
I don't.
We go into all of it.
Okay, agreed. But my question is still like, why you don't consult Quran when you say Allah is our Lord and He sent the Quran, whatever He sent the Quran? Why you don't include Quran in your
But what was
teachings?
before the Quran? What was before the Quran? You know what was before the Quran?
Yeah, Torah was there.
What was before
Torah before first of all Allah sent Torah. First.
Oh, so He sent Torah.
Yeah, first on Musa.
Oh, so the Torah, who reads the Torah nowadays?
Jews.
The Jews. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
so.
Then he cancelled Torah.
Oh, so why would Allah do that though? Why would Allah cancel?
No, listen. This is whatever. I'm not saying making anything. Once he said I sent Torah on Moses. Then I sent Bible on Jesus. Then I sent once the Bible came, like after 1500 years, Bible came, Torah cancelled, people used to, this is not from me, this is from Allah.
This is Allah, right? Exactly. But I know where you're trying to go. I don't mean to cut your wisdom, but where you're going with this, and where I'm going with this too, is the fact that Allah created all of it, and to just single out what was before that, and what was even before the Torah, which is what we're going into. We're going with what was even before that with the physical. We're going into what was before the physical. And this is teaching us how to go without the physical. Like this is teaching us how to go with nature, within Allah, like find Allah. And the closest place to find Allah is in the heart. That's what it teaches us in here, at least. I don't know about the Quran, where it teaches you in the Quran.
Where's the closest place to find Allah?
My question is that, do you believe on Allah? You said yes, we believe on Allah. Okay, agreed. After that, Allah sent Quran. Do you believe on that? You said yes, we believe on Quran.
Yeah, but you just said Allah always sent Torah too.
Torah, He's cancelled Torah.
When?
He said, okay.
So why did He?
When?
He cannot keep making all the time. He said once He sent the Quran, He said this is the seal. Prophet Muhammad will be the seal, Quran will be the seal. After that, there will be no book after Quran. There will be no prophet after Prophet Muhammad.
Why would He do
Whatever He said in Quran.
Why?
You ask from Allah. He said, I'm not going
Allah
to
has
give
no
you any
favorites.
message. After Quran, there will be no Quran.
So does it say in the Quran that He has no favorites?
Favorite?
Does He have favorites? Favorite. Does He have special people? Does Allah have favorite people? Or does He love all?
Whoever, He loves all, but whoever follows Him, He loves them more than others.
So we follow Allah.
But you follow, but you don't read from Quran.
But that doesn't mention.
I don't want to say anything.
Allah loves all, right? So what about the Torah? What about the Jews? What do you mean we don't read it?
But eventually,
No, not that Quran, the other Quran.
Allah loves them.
So it's the same thing with us. You come in here, you see what we're doing with our Moorish science, and we're getting the teachers from Noble Ali who brought us nationality and birthrights. For ultimately for us, never mind the religious part of it, because it is divine and national. But for us, our people don't have a nationality. We're walking up and down.
You probably have. We don't.
You see what I'm saying? For us,
We don't even have a name.
For us,
We don't even have a name.
Right.
Hold on.
So for us, mostly for us over here in this Quran, this
Americans.
with us, it's for us is nationality and birthrights.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? Along with the Quran to keep us in divine check, right? To keep us there where Allah is supposed to wants us, right? It's the divine, right?
Did you know that all our people over
objection.
here?
I don't say you don't read from here or you don't have the birth right of birth or whatever you are saying. My question is that how much time you give to Quran and try to do what Allah commands.
That's up to the individual themselves within the temple.
Each individual, how many
At
times
least
you read it?
you
is up
can
to you.
include the teaching of Islam, of Quran, for 10,
Well, then that's why
15 minutes, 20 minutes.
For us, Prophet Noble brought us the Circle 7, Quran, which is divinely prepared. Just like Muhammad, it was prepared from Allah. Because remember, Muhammad didn't write it. Just like Noble he didn't write the Quran. He has his certain parts that was written by him, but the majority of it was divinely prepared by him to give to us, to keep us on to raise our vibration up.
Okay, I agree. So
for you guys as Muslims over there in the masjid, You guys have the nationality. For us, we don't have nationality. We don't have what you guys have.
And Muhammad never bring us nationality. Marcus Garvey never bring us nationality.
So in case he was
Wait a minute, sir.
Okay.
You never bring us nationality. Wait a minute, sir.
Okay.
Please. Nationality means it belongs to a nation. And in this world, every human living being has to belong to a nation. We over here in the Americas, called black, nigger, colored, and minority people, we do not have a nationality. Muhammad didn't bring one. Marcus Garvey didn't bring one. Malcolm X didn't bring one. Who else? Bob Marley didn't bring one. No, but Raleigh is the only one that brings us our birthright and nationality, that I could stand up now and I could show you that I have my ancestors' name, no more slave name. Another thing with my identity, my new nationality, my nationality. It could make, wait sir, it could make me communicate with nation. It could make me go to the store, purchase my stuff, give them my ID, I don't pay tax because this is our land. Nobody tell us that. No, but Jolly is the only one that tells us.
Agree. So in case if he would not have bring it, then what was your shape? You was without any nationality, you could not go to any store, you cannot buy.
Stateless. We were stateless.
No, whoever is living in this country, he is a stateless, he did not believe.
No, we, without nationality, we are stateless.
If you were, I mean, I have no objection, whatever you are doing, I agree with your point of view. But my point is clear that if you believe on Allah, then you should include his teaching in whenever you are in lectures also. It is right or wrong?
For one thing,
what do you think? You believe on Allah, you should read his teaching, or you should not consult his teaching at all.
you know something, brother? At this stage in life, we try to eliminate belief. We grew up in all believing. Believe in Jesus, believe in this, believe in that. Now, sir, it's time to know now.
It's okay.
Stop believing now. Let's know. Stop believing now. We believe enough now. Let's know now. We need to know, brother.
We honor all prophets.
And I know that I get my birthright now. And when I move in this, go about my business, it's a different me. 50 odd years. No birthright. No nationality. Now I found it. And I see the difference. When I walk through the customs man at the airport, he look at my thing, he said, go brother, go and tell your people the truth. The customs man that's supposed to ask me, how long are you gonna stay? What did you bring? Blah, 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 blah. Nothing like that when I go back to the place where I was born, Jamaica. Nothing like that he asked me. Because what? He see my credential and he know that I know what's going on. Not believe anymore. Finish with belief, brother.
I have a question that in case if you are not having if someone came in country like a Hindu or whatever, so when he goes to he received the same treatment.
What?
They are not gonna say.
What do you mean? I don't understand you.
See, you are saying that when I go to airport, they see my passport and they give me respect. Before they were not giving you that respect.
No.
No.
Why?
Because we're stateless.
I'm stateless. So you are different. You have your name. We didn't have no name. We have European name. How could a European be considered as a so-called white man? How could we have the name and we are so-called black man? How? Something is wrong.
Actually,
This is the prophet, no obituary, that brings it to us, come correct it for us. And that's what we are. Birthright and nationality. Rights to be born. Not certificate.
No, it's okay. I will have to think about that, whatever.
This is nothing to think about, brother. We have it.
Think about look at like this. Look at like this. When you get identified, right? They don't call you Johnson, Franklin. They call you a name from your ancestors, right? The name that you have is not a European name.
No.
It is not a European name. Once a child born, because this is a long few, I will have to understand these circumstances that what will be the like if someone has not nationality or this thing.
Yeah.
What does it mean? Why you are saying that you are giving given special type of protocol? there is all the protocol is same for everyone in this
No, no, it's not the same.
No.
It's
not
the
the
same
same.
for everyone.
No,
This is
not
the
for
point I
Yeah,
need to
it's not the same.
understand.
Yeah.
Why, if what is the benefit if you don't have that thing or if you have that? In
Have
both
what?
cases, like if I go to a store, I will be given the same treatment. If I go to airport, I will be given, if I have name, they have nothing to do with my name, with my nationality, with nothing. They just see that they have their own parameters. That okay, this is the passport, this is the visa, and everything is valid. You can go ahead.
Because you're a foreigner. You've come from someplace else and come here, most certainly. But we're not foreigners.
This is what I need to see. That I need to see the history. That why, what
There you
is,
go.
and after that I can comment on this.
Let me show
I
you
have
something.
no clarity on this topic.
Let me show you something to help clarify this topic. You see this one?
Okay.
This is what Novochali brought us. Before I didn't have that. This is what he brought us now. You see my fingerprint? You cannot borrow this, and if you look like me, it's not gonna work. Because when you scan it, this fingerprint not gonna work. That means you cannot fraud me. Only me can use this. Even if we look like a twin, the fingerprint gonna make you can't use it. This is mine. This is mine.
So
Good. Wait a minute, sir. You see, when I go to the store, I was born in so-called Jamaica. I come to so-called Canada. Now I correct my thing when I go to the store now, 7-Eleven. You see where it said item tax override, item tax override. If you count them, when I show this, I don't pay tax. Are you gonna tell me I'm the same guy come from Jamaica that time years ago? What's the difference? Not Mohammed, not Marcus Garvey, no Buchari. Come again now, Jamaica now. This is the so-called Canadian passport, you see? The so-called Canadian passport. Look in here. You see me with my face? You see the big all rights reserve? You see that? That's what I walk with this. That's what I give to the customer, this. And when you look into this, he said, go and tell your people the truth. That's my proof and my facts. This is not belief. These are not belief, brother. Finish with belief.
I will have to see this. You are.
You want to stop the side when I'm doing
You
it?
are
Okay, start with the
this
next
one
one.
since long. I will have to see what is.
I'm showing you fast what you want something to think about. It's good.
Because if I go to the
Think
I
about it.
have
Come
the
with me to the
passport.
store.
I
Come
have
with
the
me to the
passport.
store
I
now.
have if I go to Freshco, I have money. I pay them the money. They give me the stuff.
With
They
tax.
have nothing to do. They have nothing.
You're a
to do.
foreigner.
You're a
You're
foreigner.
here in our land.
You're in our
You're
land.
from someplace else, you have to pay tax.
Yeah,
It's a requirement.
it's a
You came
requirement.
from someplace else and attempted at making a life here. Therefore, you pay, well, not our government, but you're supposed to pay our government your tax. But we're not foreigners. We're
You're
from here.
here. That's
We
the
didn't
truth.
come from over there and come here. They didn't take us from over
We're
there.
not slaves from Africa.
No.
We're from
And that's
here.
what
That's
they taught
not what-
us.
we're not
All my
slaves from
life
Africa.
they teach us that.
So
All
we
my life
were
they
here
teach us
and
that.
they came here and stole our names. And
Yes, stole our name,
history,
stole our land,
Stole our history.
give us freedom name.
Also, you are talking about that you were born here.
Ah,
They took everything,
Mhm.
Canadian or whoever.
Yeah.
whoever.
British, whoever,
Say
yeah,
it.
yeah.
British, European.
Yeah.
So what is your nationality like? I read in
Moorish American.
which American?
Moorish, American.
Moorish Americans.
Yes.
And when you hear America, it doesn't mean United States of America. It means
Wheels turning.
North
North
America,
continent, North
South
America,
America, Central America, and the Caribbean and Atlantic Island. All of that is America. And if you want to go further, cross the river wide, Nile, Northwest and Southwest Africa. Put that on it to all I
Islam.
Where Morocco is now, the kingdom
Good.
of
Put that
Morocco.
on it. All I
That's also.
That's what our ancestors leave for
You
us.
know, you get
I
to
will have to
understand.
go. in-
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But this is why. Yeah, this is why. This is why, for example, when we say we read the Quran, it's gonna be our personal at your house when you're by yourself. You and Allah could have a relationship, and you read it. You read it there. But in this format, we have to get into so much other information.
We can't just stick into it.
We can't just stick to
We
that.
have
Now,
much
if
more to correct.
if something comes up, we might make a reference point, Quran, okay, Surah, check to make sure. But to sit studying it, you can do that because you already have nationality. You already have a culture. You didn't have anything taken from you. You can, if you want, yeah.
I am not related.
Yeah, you're not related. Yeah.
It will take me some time.
Yeah. Which country are you from?
I'm from Pakistan.
Okay, so for example,
Your brother's from Pakistan.
yeah. So for example, if you go to somebody who's from India, right? They're gonna say India is the country, right? But if anybody who's studied, they know that it's Hindustan, it's not India, because India is a British company.
Mhm.
India is not the land. The land is Hindustan. India is British company, right? And then those people came there and then they took over. And now you have, so that's the same thing with here.
Same exact thing.
Same thing with here. This is not Canada,
And now in
United States, and all that. That's not what.
You people were living here before.
Before, yes.
So they captured it.
Came here and captured it.
It's like the British.
Yeah.
Over there in India.
Same thing.
Same thing like British did in India.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, okay, you understand now.
So see when it happened, it will be happened like centuries ago when
Yeah, 1492.
1492, like 1500.
Yeah, 1500. Yeah, 1500.
1500.
Same time.
Yeah.
Same mission.
So they captured the land and
Captured the land, captured the people, captured the resources.
Made them
Yep.
slaves or whatever.
Made the people slaves, made the people think that they're black,
That they
African, came from Africa, slave ship,
But one
when
thing,
that's
one
not the
other
story.
thing, you think about it good. For it to take like say 25 years. You take a baby, he was born here, and a 5-year-old, you take him from the mother. You go to Manitoba and raise that baby.
And you tell him whatever you want to tell him.
You tell that baby, look, you are from here. You were born in Manitoba, raised in Manitoba, you're a Manitoban, whatever. The real history, you're from Toronto, bro. But you grew up, no more parents to tell you nothing. You don't get to visit grandma to tell you nothing. You grow up, start your own family, make your babies, tell your children the same thing. You're from Manitoba, not knowing you're from Toronto. They took you from your parents at 5. You never see your parents again. You see over in Mexico where those people are. See that one? The Olmecs. Those are our people. Thousands of years before anyone has come say anything about here.
Okay, so I will have to take this information. Like,
Yeah.
You guys are practicing since long. I have no idea. So I cannot say anything like this. About this history.
We have a history, brother. We
There's
have a
much.
history.
There's much for us to focus on here because there's more than just our relationship with Allah to be addressed. We do that in our private time. We do that in our lives on a daily basis. But when it comes to being here and ensuring that our nation has the same mindset, we have to address everything. We can't only address Allah in the Quran. We have to address nationality. We have to address and all of the things
Subject
that come
matter,
underneath that. It's much
So
to
this is
address.
like a social gathering, like
No.
Not social,
Not social.
No, not national gathering.
national gathering.
national gathering,
Yeah.
and so but whatever you are reading, it's like 80 or 90% stuff is
From Allah.
not from Allah. Like it is religious stuff.
No,
Yes.
well, not necessarily.
It is
It's
just
more
to tell
national
you
than it
that
is
how to
religious.
spend the life.
Because another thing with religion, it's not religion how we think it is.
Were you here
If you-
yesterday?
So we see what we're dealing with. It's national principles and, it's divine, but we honor all prophets. Right? We don't have no favorites because Allah has no favorites. Just like Allah has no favorites, we don't have no favorites, and we're principles as well.
We're also the original people.
Mm-hmm.
The history of our people gave religion to other peoples.
Yeah.
in order for them to be redeemed in whatever way they needed to be redeemed, historically.
So what was the religion they gave to? They are, most of them are Christian.
Islamism.
Oh, you talk about Islamism, but again my question is that you don't practice Islam.
Islamism is for us,
Islamism.
It's a way of life.
We separate Islam from
mundane
Islamism.
Islam, not mundane Islam. Mundane Islam is where you guys pray, you know, if you don't.
It is not from us. It is from Allah.
From Allah, yes. It
No,
was given
no,
to
no.
your people, right?
Not given to us. He gave it for all the human beings. It is for all the human beings.
Okay.
Okay, so if someone has, it is for every human. Right? He is supposed to read and he is supposed to do that.
No, that's around the corner.
Go into the paradise. We don't want to go in hellfire, and we want to say Allah is our Lord, and we need to follow the commandment He sent to us. If we don't follow, we should not say that He will put us in trouble. So we need to follow those commandments. This is what is my point. That once you are doing, I don't say that you are doing wrong. Nationalism is also important. Social life is also important. Religion, we don't practice religion 24 hours. We practice religion for some time. So whenever we are doing, we need to see that we are doing the right way. Allah wants us to do in that way. Or we are doing by some other, someone else told us and Allah did not tell us. Then I think.
You know, one of the bottom line is subject matter. We need to know what is definition or the meaning of religion. You know what's the meaning of religion? Do you?
Yeah, religion.
What is the meaning of religion?
Religion is like, for me, it is belief. For anyone. You say that you don't believe on anything and you start.
Religion.
Yeah, religion. What is the definition in your mind?
Not my mind. Not my belief. I'm not into belief. I told you that already. I'm out to the street.
But for me, belief is everything. If I don't believe on our own Lord.
Belief is the beginning of knowing. I believe already. Knowing now.
6 and 7 right there.
Yeah. Get the
Let's do
dictionary.
more than one. Take that one and this one. No, not this one.
This is where you say
Get
this.
the English dictionary that we speak the English language.
You know, university words. You know, we dive into. We look up words. We don't believe when we're the priesthood.
Okay.
You know.
Never mind. Don't bring the priest in this now. No confusion. Let me stay on the religion. You see the religion, the priest will come. Religion. It's dogma. D-O-G-M-A. Dogma. That's what it is. Real religion is old time religion, which is a way of life. That's what Allah telling you, a way of life. The way of life. That's religion. What we have now is from the Pope and whoever created this religion, which is dogma. And so many different denominations have a little dogma going on, and they say they're looking to one God with all their dogma, and they call it religion. But that's not religion. So we need to know what's the meaning of religion. The definition
For me,
of
religion is according to Quran that whatever teachings Allah has sent you, you believe on Allah, or you said I don't believe that. I don't know about other people, but you said I don't believe.
No, I didn't say that.
For me,
I didn't say that. Don't get it wrong. I didn't say that. Believe is the beginning of knowing. So I'm into knowing, no brother.
No, it's okay. You can read it. No problem.
So listen, this says religion. Meaning reverence, piety, or religion. To tie back, to tie up, to tie fast. The personal commitment to and serving of God or a God with worshipful devotion, conduct in accord with divine commands, as found in accepted sacred writings or declared by authoritative teachers, a way of life recognized as incumbent on true believers, and typically the relating of oneself to an organized body of believers. Do you understand? There's so much more.
The key word is believer.
Believer. Religion is
That's the
made
key
for
word,
believers.
believer.
Now again we come to the
But
same
you
point.
can believe that the sky is purple. And I can't tell you it's not purple if
Because
that's what your
what you
belief
believe.
is. It
No,
doesn't
Look
make
to
it
me,
true.
but you believe that.
There should be some reason of my belief, other I cannot say that.
Okay, so you have whatever reason behind your belief that the sky is purple.
I cannot say like
For example.
Just example, this figuratively speaking. You can believe for whatever reasons you have that the sky is purple. It's purple. The truth, the capital T truth, what is what is. Whether it's purple, green, yellow, orange, or whatever we want to call it, the truth remains, regardless of what you believe. You understand? You can believe that I'm a liar. I don't have to be a liar for you to believe that. I can be a truth teller, and you still have that belief. So belief, there's a separation, a huge separation between belief and truth. And that's what we're trying to say here. Religion is made for those who are in the motion and in the act of believing, versus those who are in the motion and the act of knowing truth. It's completely two different realms.
Yeah. It's like truth, and also with truth, there's another truth. There is truth of what you believe in. That's your truth. But the divine truth is the real thing now.
Mm-hmm.
You have truth, and you have divine truth. There's a difference, brother. In this English language, there's a difference.
My question is that
and
you
divine
believe on Allah. You said we believe, right?
What can you define Allah before we continue with your question?
Allah is our Lord.
I'm sorry?
Allah is the Lord.
Is the
He's
Lord.
the God.
What
He
is
is
the
the God.
what is the Lord? What is
The
a God?
God
Explain
who
that to me.
created-
There are many gods.
The
There are
God
many gods.
who created
The creator of all things.
He created everything to us.
He created the air. He created the ground. He created my shoes. He created the atoms that make up my shoes. That some man found and collected and made shoes out of.
He taught them how to make these things.
Correct.
Okay.
He's the creator of all things.
He's
He's the creator of the planets. He's the creator of the computer. He's the creator of
Not
all
the
things.
creator of these
Of
things are
course
very
he
small.
is.
Of course, because man,
Use us.
these
We are
atoms,
his people.
those
We
atoms,
use them.
the atoms that make up this book
Yeah.
were here before someone put them together and fashioned the book.
Yeah.
They were already in
Already
existence.
here.
Someone said, "Oh, I'm
All
gonna
the
take this, I'm
material.
gonna take this,
Every
and I make a
material.
book." They used ink, they used paper, they used these
Yeah.
papyrus used to be trees.
But
This used to be something else, but it's still in creation. Allah created these things and we collected them together and
Put them
delivered to you a
together,
book.
use your own instinct. and
Still
do what you
created
do.
by Allah.
these things are you are talking something very insignificant. These things have nothing to do with Allah is something beyond your imagination.
Correct.
His greatness is beyond whatever you are talking about
Correct.
these things, and it is a matter of like a second. He can create or he can destroy or whatever he wants to do. What he said in Quran that I said be and it is be. It is there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you want to create the planet, put the
Yeah, we're not going to
animals, put the elephants, put the human being, put their food for billions of years.
Mhm.
He doesn't need to be
Like
in the
this.
flesh.
Yes,
Yeah.
So these things, whatever you are talking, these are very insignificant.
they are significant
But
in
this is-
comparison to this. I can
This
do-
is.
If I'm Allah, right? Figuratively, I'm Allah. I snap my fingers, okay, here's the book. But I'm not. I'm a physical being. I'm separate from Allah at this point.
I can't do
So
that.
I can't do that. I have to find the trees, I have to cut them down, I have to make the paper, I have to make the ink, I have to do all of the things in order to create this book.
The process,
But
right?
I got
I'll
all
like
of those things
I
from
have to go
Allah.
like that. and-
I took those things from Allah's creation.
Yeah.
You
Okay,
understand?
so my goal, I will come to the conclusion that whenever you are reading, you should read something from Quran also. Can you include that in your teaching or in your lecture?
All the time we do.
We do all the
Every
time.
day, every Sunday we're here, we read the Quran. Every Sunday we read the Quran right here.
What?
And individually in my bag, on the bus I read it.
He's talking
Everywhere
about
I read
the
it.
Quran.
Is the real Quran.
It's not. This one's not what's real versus not real. Why is this one not real?
The real
Why is this
Quran
one
is
not
the
real?
one Allah said that this is the Quran I am sending. And no one even touches it. Even the very special angels don't touches it.
May I ask a question?
Hmm.
Who wrote the Quran? Who sat down and collected Allah's teachings and put them in one
What's the
place?
name of the individual?
Who did that?
When it was revealed to Prophet Muhammad, he used to come and it is the security of Allah that he said that even don't move your. He used to move his tongue fast
Yes.
so he can observe quickly.
Mhm.
Allah said in Quran that it is my responsibility. I will collect it in your Yes.
So Allah gave it to him and he delivered it.
Who wrote it?
No. An angel, Jibreel you call him. He brought Quran. Once he used to teach him, like Jibreel used to teach him, he used to move his tongue very fast. It is written in Quran. So Allah said in Quran, don't move your tongue fast. It is my responsibility. I will gather in your heart. And once he gathered in his heart, he used to come into his companions. Let's say 20 or 50 companions. They have a special duty. Whatever has Allah said, whatever is gathered in his heart, they used to write it on in a book format.
So how did they know what to write? They were gathered in all of their hearts, all of them.
Not one person.
Not one, many
in the heart.
Yeah.
in the
Yes,
heart.
so
So
you
they
don't-
took
you
from
don't-
what they took what Allah delivered to them into their heart,
Yeah.
and they wrote it
No,
on
no,
paper.
no, not to their heart. The Prophet Muhammad's heart. And
So
Allah
how
took
did
the
they
responsibility.
how did they get the ability to write the words if it was in the Prophet Muhammad's heart? How did it transfer from
When
his
Allah
heart to
said-
their hands?
Muhammad told them?
Allah took the responsibility that there will be no difference. Whatever he's sending, the truth, it will be the same thing, it will be converted to the book.
Okay.
He took the responsibility.
Who wrote it? You didn't have
But
to-
this is what I'm saying. So if Allah presented the truth in the Quran, right, and then there's other book over here that's truth, how could you say that it's not from Allah?
Because for me, for us, Allah said that Prophet Muhammad is the seal of prophets. Quran is the seal of books.
You said prophets though, there are other prophets.
There are.
You said he's
Prophet
the seal
Muhammad-
of prophets.
Yes.
Which means there are prophets to be sealed.
Yes.
So why condemn or forget about the other prophets
That has to be sealed too.
when Muhammad has already sealed Prophet Noble Jurali based on what you just said?
It is not from me. It is from Allah by Quran.
I
There will
understand.
be no book after Quran. There will be no prophet after Prophet Muhammad. I'm not going to send anyone. If you want to see, you can show me in Quran that Prophet he sent this, or even from your own book, you can show me that he said. Allah said that I sent Prophet Nobel Jewelry said that Allah has sent this Quran to me. And is there any security that this is from Allah? Can you show me these things in Quran? These are I asked the same.
You don't have to show it, it's right there physically.
No. Prophet Drew.
It's right there in real
What
time.
also you are saying that Nobel Jewelry says these things that that he sent Allah sent this Quran and now you will follow.
No, I'm not saying that, I'm saying divinely it was prepared, so whatever happened, it happened.
Because when I say something, I have the proof. I am saying from Quran because I read through Quran from start to end. When I say something, I have the real proof.
I just feel
Okay,
like we're defining life and physical things and things that are created by man and experienced by man. And I mean to speak about time, right? You said nothing else after this book is ever gonna, there's no other prophet that comes after the Quran and Muhammad and the workings that were accomplished there, which means anything that happens thereafter is irrelevant. It's not divine. It's not coming from Allah. It's coming from some other place.
No, I'm not saying this. I am saying because Quran is saying that. Allah is saying that.
Okay.
I'm not saying. I don't say anything from me. I say whatever Quran says.
So Allah said, no other book you must read. No other people must listen. Allah saying, don't listen to other people. Don't read no other book. Is that what Allah said? Only the Quran?
Yeah.
That's a question. Only the Quran you must read?
I do.
I'm
read
asking you
other
a
books.
question.
No.
Is
I
that
do
what
read-
Allah said? Did
Is that
Allah
Allah
say?
said only read the Quran, no other book?
No, I do read. He did not say that. Don't
Okay.
read it.
So there you go.
So that's what I'm saying. So then what's the purpose of?
Whatever he said in Quran, I try to obey those commandments. I don't try to obey. If I can read other books, but I'm not I don't do that because Allah did not say commandment. Allah did not give me.
So you wouldn't fill your mind with any other knowledge?
I will.
Mhm.
I am getting
That's
the knowledge.
why that's why you don't know.
But my belief is so firm on Allah that my God.
Can we define belief? Because a belief is only a thought that you continue to think again and again and again. And once that thought happens in your mind, again, you can prove it chemically, you can prove it physically, when you believe or when you think something, today I think I am large. And tomorrow I think I am large. And then I think that thought 10 more times that tomorrow. And then the next day I think it 30 times. And the day after that, I think it 70 times. By the time the month is over, I believe I'm large. You understand? Because I've thought that thought again and again and again and again. That's the nature of belief. That's the definition of belief. So when you say believe, you understand? What you're wanting to say is no, is truth, but you can't.
Yeah.
Because it's a belief. It's
I am
not
not
the
saying
Yeah, you're
if
stopping
believe in whatever we are talking about. You also believe on one God. Do you believe on God or do you
I don't have to believe in God.
Do you
I know
believe
that
in God?
I know
I
that
don't
there
believe,
is
I know.
a creator of all things.
I know, I don't
You
believe
know
that.
this.
So
It's
that's
a
what
no-
belief
it's a
I'm
no.
talking about.
It's a no versus belief.
When I say believe, this is the one whatever is in your mind. That you say
Right, yeah. When you say believe, you mean no. Yeah, yeah.
Believe is that you're not sure, brother.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Believing
saying.
is the beginning to know.
Okay.
I believe the car went by because I heard something. I didn't see it. I turn around, I see it. Now I know. They said seeing is believing. That's a lie.
Yeah.
I believe what I don't know. When I see it,
What
I
is
know
that?
it. How seeing is believing? How? Brother?
Let me read this for you. Two things I'm gonna read. This is about the belief, right? This is what our lesson say about belief, right? Salvation is a ladder reaching from the heart of man to the heart of Allah. It has 3 steps. Belief is first. This is what man thinks perhaps is truth. And faith is next. And this is what man knows is truth. Fruition is last. And this is man himself the truth. Belief is lost in faith. And in fruition, faith is lost. And man is saved when he has reached deific life, when he and Allah are one. So man is saved not when he only read the Quran in our teaching, right? Not only when he read the Quran. Man is saved when he and Allah are one and the same. That's in our teaching. That's not in your teachings.
Yeah.
That's in our teachings.
So from where did you get this teaching from? The Nobel Jewelry book?
Yeah. This from the Noble Drew Ali's book. Yeah.
Nobel Jewelry book.
Yeah. Right.
Like I asked in the beginning that
where to prove. Yeah. So that's the second part I'm going to read. Right. These lessons of this pamphlet are not for sale, but for the sake of humanity. As I am a prophet, and the servant is worthy of his hire, you can receive this pamphlet at expense. The reason these lessons have not been known is because the Muslims of India, Egypt, and Palestine had these secrets and kept them back from the outside world. And when the time appointed by Allah, they loosened the keys and freed these secrets. And for the first time in ages, have these secrets been delivered in the hands of the Muslims of America.
okay, so he says that the keys are with those guys and they will release the keys.
Yeah.
Your book says.
Right.
According to your
Yeah.
book. So what you are gonna do with those keys? Are you gonna, if they release those keys?
Yeah.
So what would you do with those keys?
Yeah, now we study those keys to make sure ourself is better, so we could be one with Allah.
The key is something that something is locked.
Yeah, the key is to open. Yeah, the key is to open something.
The keys, they have the keys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So without them, you cannot open anything.
No, but because Noble Drew Ali came is why we can open now.
Yeah.
He went and received the key.
He got the key and brought the key back to us.
And delivered it to
Yeah.
us.
He went there in
Yeah.
in
Egypt, India, Palestine, that side of the world, and got the keys back.
Copy keys and give it to the people that they trust. The keys. Yeah, give us Moors keys.
Right, look at the masjid. Is only one key or lots of people have key to go in the masjid?
Yeah, could be multiple.
All right. Same idea.
So we are coming from there, we were born there, and you say that we have those keys. We know those keys. So we are the originator, like you.
Hold on, stop. I'm gonna address that right now because it's not necessarily that what your mind is thinking. You have to remember, you have the keys. They have the keys there. The keys were stolen, taken from us, forgotten,
From you?
lost.
So originally, what do you think that from where the keys came and why it was given to them, not to you directly? How
I never said it was never given to us.
We had it, but they stole it
I said we had it, but they took it. We lost it. We gave it away unknowingly.
They never came here. How
Of course, some of it, they give us the names we have. They took our names.
They took our names. They took our names.
I don't know why.
Listen. If I go to Iran tomorrow, me and a band of 10,000 people, we come, and we steal all of the children from every family. Anybody under the age of 10, stolen away. We take them. We kill their parents. Everybody over the age of 10 is now deceased. And we raise those children and we tell them that they're descendants of Americans. And we brought them here. And then we treated them however we treated them. That's irrelevant. Now those children grow up believing they're from here.
They're from here.
Believing,
but
they're not.
Believing, but they
But
don't
they
know
believe.
truth.
They don't
Because
know.
they're listening to something a man said.
Yeah.
You understand? You have to remember, as much as you say, the Koran was delivered to Muhammad in his heart, and it was perfect, and it still came through a man. A man had to write the words. A man had to understand what he was given by Allah and then interpret. Allah doesn't speak with language. Allah speaks in vibration. Allah speaks in energy. You can wake up and take a shower and receive something from Allah in 1 second, and if you try to explain it to a person, it takes you 7 hours. You understand? Allah happens like this. So you have to give homage and attention to the fact that when something comes through man from Allah, there's always a degree of translation that occurs.
Okay, so Allah Himself said that
Allah Himself didn't say it. Allah has no mouth to speak. Allah has no mouth to speak.
In Quran, He says that it is my responsibility.
Allah has no mouth to speak and no hand to write words. How did He say it?
Or He has a hand.
Where?
Yeah.
Your hand, my hand, His hand, His hand,
These
her
are the
hand.
hands.
And you know how
Exactly my
much-
point.
Can I show
But my
you?
hand is not the same as
One
yours.
moment.
I have my own
He
thumbprint.
said He has eyes, He has ears, He has hands.
There you are, right here.
Yeah, but that's not him.
Wait.
That's not
That's every individual.
Interesting thing.
Yeah.
You know the interesting thing how much his hand is?
Mm.
He said in Quran that on the day of judgment, the whole seven earth will be in his left hand, and the seven skies in his right hand. And from here you can see that how big his hands will be, and he has hands. You say that he has no hands. But
So
if
you're
you
telling me that Allah is a divine being, creator of all things, and stands at whatever girth he stands and height he stands, with a full body like a human being, and he stands in the cosmos, wherever that is, and he stands, and he has arms and legs and 10 toes and 10 fingers and 2 eyes and a nose and a brain and a heart and lungs. He has all of those things.
I don't know this state.
Oh, but you're speaking as though you do.
What I said, he's only mentioned that I have in my, this is what I said, but it's written in Quran. I said that this is the interesting thing when you said he doesn't have hands. He said I have hands. He said I have eyes. He said I have ears. I can listen. But I give you the example. I don't know. I cannot see that state.
Exactly.
But what he says in Quran that on the day of judgment, this is what I'm saying. The exact verse is like he said, on my left hand, the whole it will be I will roll and it will be my left hand, and the seven skies in my right hand. So this is what is written in Quran.
So then we need to understand what he means by hand. Does Allah mean for us to individual in our minds understand that he has a hand here and he's going to hold this and he has a hand here? Or does he mean for us to understand what is the function of a hand? A hand holds, a hand
You
can
said
protect,
that he doesn't
a hand
have
can console. Hands have all of these actions that they can do.
And there are people that
A
doesn't
hand is
have none.
something that is physical to
There are
man.
people that doesn't have no arms.
Exactly.
Still alive.
It's
No
so
arms.
I don't know if he has arms, I never saw him.
Or hands.
Right,
He has
right.
hands.
He has hands.
But you know
No
how a
hand.
hand functions, correct? Why would Allah choose to use the term hand for you to understand something different from hand?
See what it is that is not being taught when you look at
Let me
when you look at the holy
Physical aspect.
when you look at the holy books. The holy books are created as parable.
Mhm.
It's not created as literal. So when he says Allah's hand and Allah's holding something in one hand and holding something in another hand, it's talking about the power of Allah. It's not talking about he has hands.
Literally two hands.
Yeah,
It's talking about the power. He has so much power
yeah,
that
He could
he could hold the universe.
yes.
But it's not, he's not holding it like how we comprehend holding it. It's not the same as that. It's just talking about the power. So it's not really hands.
I don't know even if he has more.
Right.
We need 2 hands. Maybe he has more hands.
Yeah, he might have 500 hands.
Who
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. Until we meet Allah,
To see.
we don't know
Yeah.
exactly how much hands. But we know for a fact that in the holy books, everything in the holy books, whether it's Christian, Judaism, whatever religion, right? Everything that's written, there's 2 sides. There's a literal, and then there's an allegory. And we in our temple, we go with allegory more than a literal. So if you pull up something from the Holy Koran of Mecca, right, and you read it, you're going to look at it literal. We're going to look at it allegory. And that's where the fighting between religion and stuff comes from. Because nobody wants to look at it allegory. Everybody wants to look at it like, like you said when you were talking about the Christian and they say Jesus is the Son of God and whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
We know that Jesus is the Son.
You know?
Yeah, Jesus is the Son. Jesus isn't a man just walking around and he does. That's not what Jesus is.
Yeah.
That's why he's Son of God. Jesus walk on water is the sun reflecting on the water. That's Jesus walking on water. There's not a man that went to Lake Ontario and walked on Lake Ontario. His name is Jesus. That's not right. So there's 2 sides of it. There's the allegory, and then there's the literal. Majority of people that's in religion, like yourself and different, they look at the literal, and then they get lost in the literal, not realizing that it's a spiritual thing.
This is not from me. There is something that I have a logic. I don't say that I just go and believe on anything. I have a logic. First of all, I made a logic that there is a God who created me, who created everything.
Yeah.
After that, okay, who is the God? For us, for all of us, whoever is sitting there,
Yeah.
we agree on this point. Okay, God is Allah.
Allah. Yeah.
Okay. And number 2, we don't associate with this God with any other God. Like he could not have a son, like you said. He could not have a wife. He doesn't have physical needs.
Right. Like we have physical things. Right.
So we agree on this point. There is no confusion in that one.
Right.
That Allah is our God.
Right. Now that point is supposed to be the unification for everything.
Yes. Okay.
There's not supposed to be anything after that.
To be confused about.
To be confused. Once we realize that there's one God, right? You have your messenger, you have your prophet that brought you your salvation for your people.
Okay.
Right? We have our prophet that have the Buddhists have Buddha that brought them their prophet. We can't say to the Buddhists, well, your teaching is not right because it didn't come from where we got it from, or we can't do that because they have their own stuff that was brought for them, right? So when you say we should follow the Quran because that's what you say for yourself, but that doesn't apply to everybody.
I don't say anything. I say whatever Quran says.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because the next question I was saying that we all agree Allah is our God. Agree? Buddha is not our God. Jesus is not our God. Or any there are several gods.
Right. Just like Muhammad is not our God. We know Muhammad's not. Yeah, we know that. Yeah. Just a person. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Like us.
Yeah.
This is what Allah said.
Yeah.
He is like a person.
Right.
Okay. And but after that, we agree. You also agree that Allah said send Quran.
Mm-hmm.
Nobel usually said to you that like whatever you do, you need to read Quran. You need to consult Quran also. He did not say that okay, don't consult Quran.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But he also said consult other books too. He didn't just say consult Quran only.
You know one very important thing he said?
One
second. I want to cut you this time. One very important thing he said. And that's why our Quran looks so small. He said, if I tell you everything, you're going to take it and fall asleep. You're going to take it and fall asleep. A full belly and fall asleep right away.
Agree.
So, you see how we get it small? Means we got to go search for the rest of it.
No, I just want to say that Nobel really
That's
said
one
to
thing.
you guys that you should believe on Quran. He said that Quran is authentic book. He did not deny that Quran is not from Allah. And you should not do whatever is written in Quran.
Correct.
Mm.
Do you guys agree on this point?
Which
or not?
Quran? That's the thing.
He's talking
Whatever
about
Nobel jewelry said to you.
Okay.
He said Quran is a book. And
So let me ask you this question. So if he said study the Quran and he said Koran, not Quran, is it different?
whatever Quran he said. I don't know what Quran he said. He said
No, we're saying if he said Koran, right?
there is no difference.
There's no difference. It's the same.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
He must have given you some reference that okay, this is the Quran you will believe. The Quran Muhammad brought, Prophet Moses brought. Exactly the same. Agreed or not agreed?
It offers the same level of truth. It offers the same level
So
of
we are up to here. We agree on these two things that Allah is our Lord and Quran has authentication as per Nobel Jewelry. He did not say that you don't believe on Quran or don't do what is written in Quran. It means that he command you that you should believe or you should study. You can study. Okay, not should. You can study or you can consult.
Right.
This is not from me. This is Nobel Jewelry.
Yeah.
So my question is, when your prophet is commanding you,
Yeah.
okay, Allah is the Lord. He sent the Quran, not me.
Yeah.
He said so. Then why you guys are not reading from Quran or not acting from Quran? That's it. Simple. Nothing
That's
else.
the question. Of course we do.
Let me talk.
We got our own Quran.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't say
now
no,
we're
we don't have
separating
Quran.
the.
I don't say no. I said that
You read it.
Nobel Jewelry said you guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you're looking at us being in this building, right? That we should have the Quran in this building for us to read, right?
Not
What we're saying is that it's beyond this. In this building, that's not where we're gonna go in this building. If we go to Quran, that's at my house. When me and myself are with Lala, that's when I'm gonna read the Quran. I'm not gonna read the Quran out here, because out here there's more information that our people are lacking than just that. So we'll reference it. We'll tell them, yeah, make sure you have a Quran at your house. Make sure you have the book. Don't not have the book. Have the book. But when you're in your own personal space, that's when you and this book, you and Muhammad, you and Allah have your relationship with the Quran. Because outside of your house, the religion is not supposed to go outside your house.
Okay, so
that's personal.
Agreed. So it means you have believed that you should consult Quran.
Yes, you should. Yeah.
Not in gathering, okay, in your personal life.
Right.
So my question is that how long you consult with Quran? Because Quran has all it will make sure that you are saved from or protected or whatever the teachings are there. Your noble jewel is saying that you should consult Quran. How many times you are giving to Quran?
Always.
Every day.
Always.
You see I walk with it in my back?
Every day.
I'm talking, he's saying that we consult Quran, Prophet Muhammad Quran.
That
Quran.
We're also told that we honor all the prophets.
Exactly.
So we're not just gonna consult Quran only from Muhammad. We're gonna consult whatever if Jesus has a book, we're gonna consult that. If Isa has a book, we're gonna consult that.
Yeah.
If Buddha has a book, we're gonna consult that. If there's book before the Quran, we're gonna consult that. We're gonna consult many different sources, not just that one source only, because
Why? Because we recognize the fact that Allah takes action through man. Allah takes action and gives us whatever Allah wants to give us. He said, like with a snap of the finger, I can wake up and be delivered a message. And as I'm delivering it unto you, it's going to take me 20 minutes to do that. You understand? But Allah has given me that, and I'm now offering it to you. We recognize that Allah is capable of doing that, not just to Muhammad, but to any man, or to any woman, or to anything at all, because this is all Allah. Every atom you're breathing is Allah. The ground you stand upon is Allah. The seat you're sitting upon is Allah. It's all Allah. So we're recognizing that we don't discount anything. If I never pick up a Quran, if I never pick up a book, and I just experience life,
I'm still in tune with Allah.
I'm still in tune with Allah. As long as I recognize, I wake up, I open my eyes, everything I see is Allah. Everything. Everything a man says to me is from Allah. Everything a woman says to me is from Allah. My child is from Allah. It's all the same.
What's your good name?
Pardon me?
What's your good name?
My name, Damery.
Damery.
Yes.
Damery, you are using a lot of I. But
Yes.
for me, there is no I for me. Like I don't use, whatever I see, I go to Quran. I read because for me, it is from Allah. And I submit it myself to those commandments.
Where did you get your eyes?
From Allah.
So what's the difference? The book is from Allah. Your eyes are from Allah.
I don't know
Why would Allah give you a book and give you
don't
eyes, and those two things can't give you the same knowledge, the same understanding? If Allah give you your eyes and Allah give you the Quran, in which to read, you have to use your eyes to read the Quran. Then why would what you see be any less important than what's in the Quran?
He gave me the choice. If I read a scientific book, if I read a computer science book, if I read a chemistry book, if I read a physics book, he gave me the choice.
You have free will.
He gave me free will.
Yeah, but do you think that the chemistry? Do you think that the chemistry book and the other books come from Allah or no?
Come from Allah.
Right. So if they come from Allah, then that
It
means
is my choice.
yeah.
I wanna make this world, or I wanna make world hereafter. He gave me the free will.
Right.
Okay. If when I compare, I find okay. He gave me okay. I will say okay. I will put let's say 10 hours on world knowledge. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I have to sustain myself.
Yeah.
He did not say that but for 2 hours, yes, I will go to his book. For me, his book is Quran.
Right. So for you, you're gonna go 24 hours in a day. You're gonna do 10 hours world knowledge, and then everything else Quran.
Yeah.
For yourself. Right.
For
Right.
For myself.
Yeah. No. Well, for you to get to the place where
How I will spend my life. I will read from Quran.
From Quran more than something else.
Something.
Because the Quran is what, according to you, according to your interpretation of what Allah said, it's the Quran where you're gonna get everything that's gonna sustain you.
Yes.
Right. That's not where we're at. Right. I agree with you. I'm not saying you're wrong.
No.
I'm not saying you're wrong. You agree.
I did not define my life. My life defined from Allah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he has given me an authentic book, clear book. So whenever I have any issue or I need to take the guidance from that book, I have to spend my life.
Yeah.
That's simple.
Yeah.
And this is what your Robert really told you, that okay, you should read from Quran. Did he say that you read from Bible? Did he say you read from Buddha?
Yes.
He said, don't throw away your Bible.
Keep it.
He said, don't throw away your Bible. He said, we honor all the prophets.
Everyone honors all the prophets. We don't say that.
Yeah, we honor. So if Buddha brought, if one other prophet, if one other prophet said something, because we honor all the prophet. If 50 prophets say something, then all those 50 prophets, we're gonna check all their stuff that they have that Allah gave them for humanity.
I want to know who polices the realm of, for instance, I'll use the example of Muhammad, right? Being given the words to write the Quran in a book. Allah gave to him, right? If he says, he writes the book, and then at the end of the book, he writes something else that came from him here and not from Allah. How do you know that every word in that book came from here and not also from here? Or that there's some parts that came from here and maybe one or two things came from here?
Yeah, because
how do you prove, like how do you know?
Yeah, I can show you, because Allah said that if he had made even one single sentence from himself, we are going to hold his hand, slash his neck. Prophet Muhammad, he cannot make even one single word by his own will, or by his adding by himself, or he cannot do it. It is in Quran. If you want, I can show you.
So, this is what I'm saying. Allah said these things through this man, and then Allah said to prove this is what is going to occur. And those things didn't occur, and therefore you can trust that this is Allah's words. Correct?
Is it?
The man could have been capable of writing that too.
Yes.
So
it is Allah who is commanding them. He said that I will preserve this book. He said, I will preserve this book, because before, men made a lot of changes in the books.
yeah, all of them.
Yeah.
Many changes.
Yeah. But if you go anywhere in the world, but the same version you will find in Quran. Word by word, letter by letter, even we call it Zayzabar, page, I don't know if you know.
Yeah.
There is no change.
Yeah.
In anywhere corner of the world you go, the Quran has same shape, same book. No change in any meaning, nothing.
After the first Quran was written, the Quran became, and then it was never changed thereafter.
Never. For 1500 years it is in same shape.
Exactly. But what I'm contesting is this first Quran.
Yeah, the first Quran I told you, Allah said that it is in Quran itself, that if Prophet made by himself, or he added or subtracted anything, we are going to hold his right hand and we are going to slash his hand.
Who's we?
Allah.
I would contest that, because I've got Quran translated in the English version. And what I know is when one message is conveyed in its language and it's translated into another language, there's an essence that's lost. There's always an essence.
A little bit change, but
So now who's going to hold whose hand to kill them? Because definitely something is missing from the
Quran
second
in
version.
Arabic is same. If I went to Arabic, I lived there for 13 years. So I know how they speak. I don't know what is written in Quran. I don't say anything from myself. I read it in Arabic. And once they translate, you can say that if someone, something could have two names also.
Right.
You can interchange, but it doesn't mean you change the meaning. The meaning doesn't change at all. Right?
Maybe it's because of this language we speak now, because English, you can say
English
one
is
thing.
also, I told you that you can define one thing with two words.
Exactly. This is what I'm saying.
But your name, like this, you have some two names, okay? If I say your first name or second name, it doesn't mean you change it. I mean you.
Yeah.
So it did not change. In Arabic, it did not change. It is in pure format. Allah Ta'ala took the responsibility, and for me, this book is I need to follow, and whatever, like my being here, I'm being here, just I want you to include it, because nobody really said to you.
But you're expecting us to do what they do in religion, and we're not practicing religion in this building.
Yeah.
You don't practice it. But
That's not what this building is for.
But
that's not what this space is for.
If you believe on Allah, we
I don't believe in Allah. I know Allah.
Not believe.
I
Yeah.
experience Allah every day. Every day I
Not
wake up, I
believe.
put my feet
Come
on the
on,
ground,
believe,
and
God.
I have my own
That's
internal
Allah.
conversation with Allah.
Knowing, man.
Okay, but after what time you will stay? Maybe I'm taking more time. We can-
Hold on, we about to close on right now.
Okay, we can close now. So next week, hopefully we will go to a right conclusion.
Oh yeah,
This is the right.
this is the right conclusion. This is the right conclusion.
The conversation is
Yeah.
the right conclusion.
Yeah.
You understand? Maybe there's not something we need to agree upon. Maybe it's just the conversation.
Sharing thoughts.
Maybe it's
Yeah.
the sharing of our
Knowledge.
The exchange, you know, the
But
exchange.
there should be some benefit that we are created by some Allah, and we need to follow the real commandment. So we are protected from His anger.
Mm.
That is my purpose.
Yeah.
Right?
Father on the left, two on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth.
Truth.
Peace. Freedom.
Freedom.
And justice.
and justice.
Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation.
My salvation.
By night
By night
and by day.
By day.
His holy prophet.
His holy prophet.
Muhammad
Muhammad.
Islam.
Islam.
Ashe. Islam, Moors.
Always a pleasure.
That's really what I
Yeah, it is always a pleasure.
Hopefully all you guys at home, man, they say,
That's all.
this is the real thing, man.
Whatever the mind, I don't know you believe on Allah, you